Chapter 211. Baya opened her eyes and saw the luxurious crystal chandelier. The crystal chandelier reflected the sunlight outside. It was already dawn. Her emotions were much calmer than last night. When melatonin accumulated in the body, it would make people irritable, angry, depressed, paranoid and depressed. She still had serotonin in her body yesterday, so she was angry and impulsive. Fortunately, these would disappear with the metabolism. So, when she woke up, she would be much more rational. She sat up from the bed. The wounds on her body were bandaged when she was unconscious. Baya got down from the bed and opened the door. Su Jiran was sitting in front of the computer. When he saw her coming out, he immediately stood up and explained, "You fainted yesterday and have a fever of 41 degrees. It's better for you to rest now. I'll get someone to take a look at you." "Thank you. It's okay, I feel much better now." Baya rejected his kindness and glanced around her room. "Where did you put my bag?" "I was in a hurry to send you to the hospital yesterday, so I didn't pay attention. I sent someone to get it this morning and they said that someone took it. I think it was Gu Lingqing. It should be easy for him to find you through your phone's GPS, Su Jiran guessed." Baya lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes left a black silhouette under her eyes. While she was in a daze, Su Jiran walked to Baya and said gently, "Xiaoya, don't you want to go back to America? I'll transfer my company so that I can stay with you. I was drunk yesterday and I was talking nonsense." "Don't take it seriously," Baya said calmly. "Then are you going to watch Gu Lingqing and Zhou Hailan hurt you? Do you think you're not broken enough?" Su Jiran said impulsively and held Baya's hand. "Gu Lingqing has Zhou Hailan in his heart. I only have you in my heart. Who you have in your heart has nothing to do with me. I just want to know who I have in my heart and who is left. Do you have a disposable toothbrush? If it's convenient, send me back to the military," Baya said coldly. "I really don't understand you. You know it's purgatory, why do you still want to go there? Aren't you afraid of seeing Gu Lingqing and Zhou Hailan together?" Su Jiran said with a frown. "I am a woman who climbed out of the grave of marriage. What am I afraid of?" Baya twitched the corner of his mouth and said sarcastically, "Perhaps, if you decide to forget and stop loving, you should experience being hurt to the point where you can't recover, just like how I walked out of your cage. Aren't you being cheap?" Su Jiran was furious. He stared at Baya. "Slut." Baya's eyes became misty, but her thoughts were clear. "Do you think I don't want to forget him? Do you think I don't want to break free? When reason goes against my heart, I will feel pain in my heart. When my heart is in pain, reason will compromise because the feeling of pain is simply worse than death. Life is worse than death. I don't want to live such a painful life anymore. I want my heart to wake up completely, and the person who can wake my heart up can only be Gu Lingqing." "Baya, are you really crazy? Do you know what you are talking about?" Su Jiran was not calm. He didn't agree with Baya's point of view, and he didn't want Baya to go to Gu Lingqing's side. He was afraid that Baya would stay by Gu Lingqing's side with all her heart. If that happened, he would be left alone in this world. The word crazy touched Baya's sensitive nerve. Was she really crazy? She didn't know, but she now fully understood her mother's mentality when she became crazy. They would rather be called crazy by the world than be considered a complete fool. So, her mother would rather lock herself in her memories than go to Xing Batian for help. "I am an independent person. I am responsible for my own actions. If you don't have a toothbrush and you don't want to give it to me, I can solve it myself." Baya walked towards the door. Su Jiran held her arm and almost used a pleading tone. "Can't you give me another chance? I know I was wrong. I won't look for another woman in the future. You promised, as long as I castrate myself, you are willing to stay by my side for the rest of your life. I love you, Xiaoya. I want to take care of you and have our child. I won't let you be sad anymore. When you are sick, I will accompany you. When you are lonely, I will accompany you. Wherever you want to go, I will accompany you. I won't let anyone hurt you anymore. Tears, along with her cheeks, flowed down. 3 years ago, when she was still married, she was not prepared to accept Gu Lingqing. If he had said these words in the state of their marriage at that time, perhaps she and Gu Lingqing wouldn't have the things that happened later. But what did Su Jiran give her? Sarcasm, hurt, use of her friend to threaten, hysterical destruction. I remember telling you before that my heart is very small. When I have you, there won't be Gu Lingqing. Now, when I have Gu Lingqing, there won't be you, Bai Yi said with certainty. Su Jiran wiped the tears off Bai Yi's face. Then I will wait until you don't have Gu Lingqing in your heart. I know that it will be harder for me to enter your heart than ordinary people, but I will persist. Bai Yi pushed his hand away and turned her face away. Just like when Su Jiran played with other women, she did not want to humiliate herself. Even if Gu Lingqing had Zhou Hailan in his heart, she would not casually use other men to have an ambiguous relationship with many problems. Ning Ke should not look at her. I'm leaving. You don't need to see me off. Bai Yi quickly walked out of the door and walked on the unfamiliar road. Right now, she was really in a sorry state. No money, no mobile phone, unkempt hair, dirty face, and teeth not brushed. She was still wearing the wrinkled clothes from yesterday. She did not take a bath, and all kinds of unpleasant smells mixed together. People around her looked at her strangely. She could ignore them and looked at the blue sky. She did not want much. She just wanted a home. No matter where she was, there would always be a destination that she wanted to return to. Her husband didn't need to be powerful, rich, or handsome. He just needed to be able to talk to her and make her feel comfortable and at ease. When she was sleeping, she opened her eyes and realized that she wasn't alone. She could find him, right? Several cars stopped in front of her. Gu Lingqing got out of the car and walked quickly to her. Where did you go last night? I was worried about you. Chapter 2:12. I went out to sing. Bai Yi said lightly and lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes were like ink fans, covering the top of her eyelids. Gu Lingqing held Bai Yi's hand. Her hand was as cold as ice. He tightened his grip. I went to the KTV to look for you. You weren't there, but your bag and phone were still there. With Chief Gu's ability, how could you not know where I am? Bai Yi asked in return. The corners of her mouth curled up. Her eyes were gentle, but there was no smile in them. She looked very strange. Gu Lingqing frowned. He really couldn't find her. He had located her phone, but the electronic eye seemed to be broken. He couldn't find her trace. After searching for a night, he finally found her location and rushed over immediately. But he guessed that the only person who could block the electronic eye was Su Jiran. His eyes were bloodshot. He had always been calm and collected. He didn't show his emotions on his face, but there was a surge of anger in his body. The flame burned away most of his rationality. What do you want? Are you with Su Jiran to anger me or to take revenge on me? Is there any meaning in doing this? Bai Yi's eyes flickered and she swallowed her bitterness. She had fainted yesterday. Otherwise, she wouldn't have left with Su Jiran. If he thought that she was taking revenge, so be it. Indeed, it's very boring. Give me my bag and phone. I won't go to the military for the time being. I'll take a day off today. Bai Yi wanted to calm herself down. You can take a week off. Gu Lingqing turned around and got into the car. Her bag was thrown out of the window. It was as if a knife had pierced her heart. She was an excellent psychologist. She knew that Gu Lingqing's action was because of anger and disgust. The two of them had been together for a long time, but they became more unforgiving. They were unforgiving because they didn't cherish it. They didn't cherish it because they had found someone they wanted to cherish more. Her complaints, anger, and sharpness were a double-edged sword. Stabbing other people's colleagues would also stab herself. Everyone would avoid her when she was holding a sword. Everyone was afraid of being hurt. Baiye picked up the bag, opened it, and took out the medicine bottle. Her hands were trembling, and without water, she took one pill. His unstable emotions gradually calmed down. She booked a room in a nearby hotel, took a shower, and applied medicine on herself. After bandaging her wound, she lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling in a daze. Most male chauvinist men liked women who were obedient. They liked women to rely on, act coquettishly, and satisfy their male self-esteem. The woman in their dreams had long hair fluttering in the wind. She walked like a willow. She was gentle, affectionate, and considerate. She needed their protection. However, because of the influence of male chauvinism, they didn't like it when women around them asked them things they didn't want to say and interfered with their lives, especially when they questioned their relationship with women. They would feel annoyed and even hate it over time. Gu Lingqing was a male chauvinist. She couldn't be obedient, nor would she act coquettishly. She didn't want to rely on him. She wouldn't beg for mercy when he walked away. Perhaps, they were not compatible in terms of personality. Baiye rested for a while to stop herself from thinking too much. She went to the shopping center to buy 2 sets of expensive clothes and a set of makeup. When no one loved her, she had to love herself even more. Baiye changed her clothes. It was a strapless dress with a white top and black bottom. She tied her hair up and put on exquisite makeup. She looked dignified and noble, but also playful and bright. She went to the nursing home and secretly looked at Bai Bing. Bai Bing was reading a book. She had recovered well and her complexion had become very good. Her eyes were no longer blurry, but there was the bright light of a Tao crystal. She was immersed in the fantasy of making herself more beautiful. She couldn't appear. As soon as she appeared, Bai Bing would ask her about seeing Xing Bachuan. If she was disappointed once, twice, or thrice, she would fall short of success. She could only give it a shot and see Bai Bing change. Baiye's phone rang. She looked at a series of numbers, hesitated for a moment, then answered and walked out of the door. "Hello, do you still remember who I am?" The man's mellow voice came from the phone. Baiye's memory was quite good. He was the man she had casually called, answered, and told each other what was on her mind. "I remember." "What's wrong?" Baiye asked politely. "I'm in City A and I want to see you," the man said directly. Baiye twitched the corner of her mouth and refused. "Meeting is not as good as reminiscing. Don't misunderstand. After your advice last time, my situation has improved a lot. This time, I brought a friend here. My friend's son has a big problem," he said sincerely. "My fee is not low. 10,000 an hour. Not to mention 10,000, as long as you can cure his son, he will pay you even 1,000,000. Baiye was silent for a moment. Love was gone, but her career was still important. The more decadent she was, the more she was looked down upon and abandoned, the more she wanted to live a better life. "I'll see you in an hour at Xianla Cafe in Watermoon International," Baiye said and hung up the phone. When she was about to reach Watermoon International, her text message rang. "Alyssa's private room," the man left a message. Baiye put away her phone, got out of the car, went into Xianla Cafe, found Alyssa's private room, and knocked on the door. "Come in." The man's deep voice sounded. Baiye pushed the door open. There was only one man in the private room. He was wearing a light blue vest with a white shirt inside. He had a slightly delicate face and curly hair. He was very handsome, in line with the aesthetic standards of 1990 and 1990. He was also wearing light and elegant men's cologne. His lips were red and his teeth were white. He looked young, which did not match the age his voice conveyed. Baya sat opposite him. His eyes were still lingering on her face. "I didn't expect you to be so beautiful." Baya tapped the table lightly, without his warmth, calmness, self-control, and depth. "Where is your friend?" "He went out to buy a pack of cigarettes and will come back 10 minutes later." "You came earlier than I expected." "I'm Ching Jinrong, what's your name?" Ching Jinrong asked. She did not want to be friends with him. "Tell me about your friend's child." Baya took out a pen and a notebook from her bag. Ching Jinrong laughed. "You're always so cold to people. There's no need to be warm. Why give people the wrong information and worry about nothing?" Baya said seriously. "I'm very curious. There are people who don't cherish such a beautiful and mature woman like you." Ching Jinrong said pitifully. Baya's lips twitched. "Roses may look beautiful, but they will be pricked when you pick them. They will wither after a few days of forcefully picking them. Isn't it normal to not cherish a withered flower? If you want to know more about my privacy, then I'm sorry, I'll leave first." Baya put the notebook and pen into her bag and stood up. Ching Jinrong stood up too. He was very tall, probably 1.9 meters. "If I said something wrong, I'll apologize. I won't ask. I really brought my friend here for something." Just as he finished speaking, the door of the private room was pushed open. Baya looked at the person and paused. Chapter 213. She always had an unfulfilled wish. Back then, in order to be with Gu Lingqing, she went to Tangqian village to investigate Governor Chang's murder and cause Tang Xiaozhou's death. Before Tang Xiaozhou died, he gave her the evidence. She promised to help Tang Xiaozhou fulfill his unfulfilled wish and promised that if she didn't find the murderer and bring him to justice, she and Gu Lingqing couldn't be together. Now, she and Gu Lingqing weren't together because she broke her promise. She carried the lives of an entire village on her back. Who was the person in front of her? LV Xingzhou. Back then, she found the two most suspicious people. One was Luliang City and the other was LV Xingzhou. Luliang City and LV Xingzhou had a good relationship. Luliang City was promoted by LV Xingzhou. When he was the mayor of Jinyang City, LV Xingzhou was already the deputy secretary of the state. At that time, in order to investigate Luliang City and Jinyang City, she even passed the Discipline Inspection Institute and became an exchange supervisor. She used her connections to enter the Jinyang City Procuratorate. At that time, Gu Lingqing also intervened. Originally, they could have worked together to complete this mission. But later, Gu Lingqing lost his memory and she was heartbroken. Since she wasn't as capable as Gu Lingqing, she couldn't achieve immediate results, so she left country A. She didn't expect to meet Luliang City Superior, LV Xingzhou, in such a way. "Hello." LV Xingzhou reached out his hand. He looked very serious and unapproachable. "Hello." Baya also shook hands with him in a businesslike manner. "I heard from Jinrong that you're very good at psychology. After your guidance, his temper has improved a lot and his mentality has become clearer." LV Xingzhou looked at Baya suspiciously. "It's not bad. My surname is Baya. If you have friends in America who specialize in psychology, you should know me." Baya smiled. Ching Jinrong stood up. "Don't stand and talk. We're all friends. Have a seat." Baya glanced at Ching Jinrong. Qing Jinrong smiled. His smile was sincere. Baiyo lowered her eyes and sat down. She tapped her fingers on the table gently and said, "Tell me about your child. Let's talk about the situation first. I hope to sign an agreement with Madame Bai. The agreement will state the payment details. However, I want it to be strictly confidential. If even the slightest bit of information leaks out from here, you will have to pay me $1 million. LV Xingzhou demanded an exorbitant price. It is my professional ethics as a doctor not to expose the patient's condition. More than 1 or 2 people know about your son's condition. How can you guarantee that the news was not spread by them but by me? I'm sorry, if you don't trust me, you don't have to start the treatment." Bai Yi stood up. "Of course, Secretary Louis doesn't mean that. We believe you can keep it a secret. You are a bit impatient." Qing Jinrong said the second half of the sentence gently. Bai Yi was just playing mind games. She was LV Xingzhou. She would definitely accept this task. Bai Yi returned to her chair and looked at LV Xingzhou with a firm and steady gaze. "Secretary LV, to you, your son's illness is a family scandal, but to me, whether the patient's information is disclosed or not is related to my career. If I were a doctor who casually disclosed the patient's information, if I was a doctor who casually disclosed the patient's condition, would there still be people coming to me for treatment? So, your worries are unnecessary." LV Xingzhou hesitated. "Why don't you come to me after you've thought it through? Don't suspect the people you use, don't use the people you doubt." Bai Yi said calmly. LV Xingzhou sighed and said, "My son is not only a voyeur. He also has a habit of stealing clothes. A few days ago, it even happened." LV Xingzhou did not continue. Bai Yi smiled and said with certainty, "The rape incident." LV Xingzhou furrowed his brows, a strange awkwardness on his face. "Luckily, that family was still reasonable, but I'm worried that similar things will happen again in the future. I can settle it once, twice, or even thrice, but if you walk by the river often, how can you not get your shoes wet? There will always be exceptions, out of 100 people. Out of 100 people, as long as one of them is exposed, my son will be finished." Voyeur, stealing clothes to rape is a process of him probing. If you had stopped him when he was just peeping, he wouldn't have gone to stealing clothes. He made a mistake, and you spent money to settle it. He would only think that my father can settle it with money. So, there will definitely be a second time. This rape incident might even turn into murder, Bai Yi said coldly. "Can you save him? My son is still young. I think he can be corrected. Oh right, I even introduced a girlfriend to him before. He already has a girlfriend. How could he still do such a thing?" LV Xingzhou was disappointed. There are many reasons for psychological abnormalities. The most common is the influence of the environment and the internet. Changing some hobbies can't be done in a day. It requires long-term planning and to let him put his mind into other hobbies. Carry out reasonable guidance. Don't forcefully lock him up, it will backfire, Bai Yi said clearly. LV Xingzhou's face turned ugly. "He's locked up at home now. How old is he?" Bai Yi asked. 18. He's currently in his 2nd year of high school. Previously, a classmate told me that he likes the campus bell of their school. I'm worried that he will do something wrong, so I haven't let him go to school this semester, LV Xingzhou said irritably. He can watch the person, but he can't watch the heart. Have you hired a tutor? I've hired one, but he's a mess. I've hired many tutors, but no one is willing to teach him. Because of him, many strands of my hair have turned white. He's my only son. I don't know what to do. LV Xingzhou was very dispirited. Bai Yi squinted her eyes and looked at LV Xingzhou. Humans are really strange creatures. They are complicated and contradictory. Some people kill people madly, but are very filial to their parents. Some people are stingy, but can donate all their savings in one go. LV Xingzhou loved his own child so much, but did not have any pity for other people's children. That's why he massacred an entire village in one night. I will temporarily go to your house to treat your son as a home tutor. The treatment period will be 3 months. I will be there from Monday to Friday, from 8 in the morning to 16 in the afternoon, 8 hours a day. The fee will be 80,000 yuan a day. There are 22 days in a month, 76 million yuan. I request that you pay me in advance as a deposit when you sign the contract. After a month, if you feel that I can't do it, the agreement will be terminated. If you feel that I can do it, the second month's fee will also have to be paid in advance. I promise to look after him for 3 months. Otherwise, I will only charge you for 2 months. In addition, I request that you do as I say. If you don't do as I say, the agreement will be terminated immediately. How about it? Bai Ye said in a businesslike tone. You promise to look after him for 3 months. Even if you can't look after him, you've already taken more than 3 million. I promise. Bai Ye said confidently, think carefully before you call me. I have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. Chapter 2:14. Bai Ye saw him and was slightly stunned. Didn't he swagger off in the morning? Didn't he say that it would be fine even if she took a week off? He even threw her bag out. Now, what did he mean by appearing in front of her? Is the chief free? Bai Ye said bluntly. His eyes were sharp, as if there were countless thorns. When he opened his mouth, it made people feel uncomfortable. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a profound gaze. His ink-black eyes reflected the 2 tiny versions of her. He remained silent. Bai Ye suddenly felt bored. The fire she released fell on the glacier, and what was left was still ice. She also became silent. The 2 of them stood face to face, and the atmosphere was extremely awkward. Are you still angry? Finally, Gu Lingqing asked in a gentle tone. He was actually very angry at that time. He left directly, but he didn't return to the military. He had located her cell phone, so he knew that she had gone to the hotel, and he knew that she had gone to the nursing home. When he knew that she went to the cafe, he couldn't sit still and drove over to wait for her at the door. Bai Ye looked down. She used the period of silence just now to calm down. Being angry couldn't solve the problem. Being angry would also produce toxins to hurt herself. There was no need. You came at the right time. I accepted a project and need to go on a business trip for about 3 months. Bai Ye went straight to the topic. Gu Lingqing frowned. His chest was moving up and down violently, and his breathing was not stable. Do you think I will agree? If the matter in the military is urgent, I can ask Mu Shaoxing to send someone else over. It won't delay your business. Gu Lingqing's eyes narrowed, and he said fiercely, I said that I want you. The people in the research institute are also professionals in psychological tests. Their ability is no less than mine. I'm doing voluntary work here. It's my own patient. It's related to my career and money. You can't force me. Bai Ye tried his best to match his mood. I can also pay you. I'll give you as much as you want. I won't give you less than they do, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Bai Ye was also a little annoyed. She frowned. Is there no room for discussion? What do you think? You only gave me 3 months. Once you go out, the 3 months are gone. Bai Ye, you are not fair to me. Gu Lingqing said rationally. She could see through all her thoughts. I'm unfair to you, but have you ever been fair to me? Bai Ye recalled what he had said in the past 2 days. Her brain was suddenly congested, and there was no room for her to think. She only felt very irritated. Am I so unfair to you? Gu Lingqing stared at her. She didn't want to keep complaining like a resentful wife. Gu Lingqing, I'm telling you from a professional standpoint of psychology that our personalities are not compatible. Since it's meaningless to be together, why should we force it? Bai Yi said firmly and coldly. Every word she said was like a knife to him. He was also angry. The rationality that he had been holding back was thrown to the back of his mind. His eyes were burning with a raging fire. He said angrily, I can't be like you. 1 second, you're passionate, and the next second, you're as cold as ice. I told you that I have a responsibility to Zhou Hailan, but you just have to force me to choose between you and her. Must I be so stubborn, cold, and resolute to choose between you and her? What he said made her feel that she was cold, resolute, unsympathetic, and unforgiving. She remembered that he had said before that Gu Lingqing would not like a cold woman like her. She remembered that he had said before that Gu Lingqing would not like a cold woman like her. What he liked was fresh, lively, cute, and full of vitality. Sorry, she couldn't do it at all. She had lived in a gloomy, dark, and heartless world since she was young. She was not forcing him to choose between her and Zhou Hailan. Instead, she chose to give up on her own initiative. Bai Yi's eyes were completely cold. There was no longer a trace of warmth in them. She had made up her mind to leave and start a new life. She would no longer be reluctant to leave a person that she didn't understand, didn't appreciate, and didn't like her. Then what do you want me to do? Bai Yi asked, staring straight at Gu Lingqing. Leave everything to me. I'll definitely handle it well. I said that I'll marry you, so I'll marry you. I won't go back on my words. Just wait for me patiently. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. I'll be away for 3 months this time. It doesn't count in the 3 months that we agreed on. After I come back, you still have 3 months. A total of half a year. Is that enough? Bai Yi negotiated. Gu Lingqing felt her heartlessness. His emotions also turned cold, and he stared at her. Whether there was love between them or not, he couldn't tell. Your patience with me is only half a year. Gu Lingqing asked back. He looked at her sharply, and his tone was full of questioning. Bai Yi's heart ached slightly. It's not too late for you to find out that I'm not a man. Gu Lingqing, you'll find more weaknesses in me in the future. Until one day you find out that I'm not the person you like. At that time, will you force yourself to be with me in pain? Or will you cut off the source of the pain? Before you completely understand what kind of person I am, don't make a decision easily, and don't force me to be sincere. You still don't understand me. You don't have the right to make me give up everything. Bai Yi said sharply. She was very clear that what she said was like a sharp sword that could cut off all the feelings between them. However, she had been hurt enough. Now, she was like a hedgehog. She wouldn't give herself away casually anymore. Let's go back to the military area first. Gu Lingqing didn't reply directly. Bai Yi thought that her luggage was still with him, so she didn't refuse. She got into his car. Lieutenant Colonel Song drove the car. The muscles on Gu Lingqing's face were tense, and his eyes were dark, as if he was thinking about something. Bai Yi looked out of the window. She loved to read magazines a long time ago. Some magazines had the enlightenment of a young girl's heart, and some magazines seemed to be the precipitation after experiencing the vicissitudes of life. She remembered one of the stories, which went like this: after a beautiful and elegant woman married her husband, she stopped putting on makeup and no longer paid attention to her clothes. She spent all her time in the kitchen, living room, and children. Finally, one day, the husband was tired of the old woman at home and found a third son. The woman divorced decisively, began to put on makeup, and began to pick up the luxurious clothes that had been thrown away. At a business party, the husband met his ex-wife. She was dazzling, with her own sparkle, calm and elegant, like a goddess accompanying her new husband, talking leisurely and charming. Chapter 2:15. If a man treated a woman as a goddess, the woman would become a goddess. If a man treated a woman as a faded old woman, the woman would become a faded old woman. And she, beside Gu Lingqing, seemed to become sharper and sharper, harder and harder to talk to, and harsher. In the past, she hated harsh words, sharpness, indifference, and darkness. In fact, she had become what she hated the most now. She couldn't go on like this. Baiya closed her eyes and leaned against the back of the chair to rest. Gu Lingqing glanced at her. Her eyelashes trembled slightly, and she didn't sleep well. He felt very distressed, and his breathing became heavy, falling on her face. Baiya opened her eyes and caught his gaze on her. "What's wrong?" Baiya asked lazily. "Is your wound better?" Gu Lingqing asked deeply. His tone was calm and much gentler than before. "It's better. It should have formed a scar. It won't take long for it to recover completely," Baiya said faintly. She also said it to herself. Time would definitely heal her scar, so that she wouldn't feel pain anymore. "Do you really want to go on a business trip for 3 months?" Gu Lingqing compromised. "I want to take this patient," Baiya said with certainty. "When will you go?" "I don't know yet. I'm waiting for the notification." "Don't not come back," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya felt a little sad. Maybe she really wouldn't come back. There were many variables in 3 months. She didn't want to make a promise easily, so she didn't say anything. Gu Lingqing understood her unspoken words. His heart was very tight, and his breathing became thin. He held her hand tightly. His hand was firm and full of warmth like the sun. "It's my fault that I went out on our wedding night. I didn't know that you were also injured. There have been a lot of things recently, and I can't control my emotions well. I'll be angry at you." Gu Lingqing paused for a while. He didn't want to cover up his mistake, nor did he want to avoid responsibility. "I've thought about it seriously. I want to marry you," Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya's lips curled up slightly, looking calm and serene. "You want to marry me because you're stronger than me, and because we have a child, so you feel responsible for me. Perhaps it's also because you proposed to me before Zhou Hailan. Gu Lingqing, you are a very special person. A person with a sense of responsibility. This kind of person will make you have great achievements, but will also make your life more difficult than others. I want to marry you because I like you," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice, directly responding to the relationship between them. Baiya paused slightly. His words were simple and unpretentious, but her heart was in turmoil. Should she trust him? Was he only responsible for Zhou Hailan? How could she tolerate him taking care of other women all the time? Baiya turned her face away and looked out of the window. Her heart and mind were in a mess. She had to think about it carefully. Gu Lingqing also looked out of the window. He hadn't slept for a few nights, and he was very tired. However, he held her hand and didn't let go. The two of them didn't speak again. When the car arrived at the military base, Gu Lingqing was already asleep. He opened his eyes suddenly and looked at Baiya anxiously. She was still there, asleep. Her eyes were closed, and her head was leaning against the window. She looked lonely. His heart ached as he took off his suit jacket and draped it over her body. Baiya woke up too. She stretched her neck and looked out of the window. "We're here. You can sleep a little more when we get back. You look very tired." Gu Lingqing touched her face gently. Bai Ye looked down. She didn't agree, but she didn't reject him either. The car went in and stopped at Gu Lingqing's courtyard. The orderly ran over and opened the back door. Gu Lingqing got out of the car. Bai Ye came out from the other side. "Ah, Qing, you're finally back." Zhou Hailan smiled sweetly and ran towards Gu Lingqing. She hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. "Uncle Gu said that you've already settled the procedures to pick me up. I don't have to go back to the cold laboratory alone anymore, right?" Gu Lingqing looked at Zhou Hailan deeply. He pursed his lips and maintained an unchanging expression. He didn't say a word. Bai Ye lowered her eyes and looked at the two people who were hugging each other. The man was handsome and the woman was beautiful. It was like a beautiful picture. The picture was too beautiful. She didn't dare to look at it. She quietly moved her eyes away and looked at the entrance of Gu Lingqing's apartment. Song Shiyu and Gu Tianhang stood there, like gods looking down at her hunched back. Bai Ye blinked. Her heart hurt so much that it didn't feel like it was hers. For more than 3 years, she had been wronged by Xiong Daini. Fortunately, she didn't have a father-in-law. Now, she would suffer even more grievances at the hands of Gu Lingqing's parents. At least, Xiong Daini only looked down on her and didn't bring other women to his son. But Gu Lingqing's parents did. Bai Ye took a deep breath and didn't want to struggle anymore. She looked at Gu Lingqing. "I'll go get my luggage. Chief Gu, please send someone to send me out later." Gu Lingqing clenched his fists and looked at her. His chin was tight. Bai Ye smiled. He didn't ask her to stay. In fact, this was the love triangle. When men were hesitant, the one who looked strong and independent was always the one who got hurt. He felt that the soft one couldn't leave him, while the strong one didn't seem to need him. Since he was strong, he had to hold on no matter what. Because even if he fell, no one would thank him. Bai Ye walked straight into Gu Lingqing's room. She didn't even look at Song Shiyu and Gu Tianhang. Song Shiyu followed her in and said behind Bai Ye, "I told you long ago that Lingqing loves someone else. Why do you have to humiliate yourself? Now that Lan Er is back, don't ruin them." Bai Ye felt as if she had been slapped in the face many times. When she was facing Song Shiyu, she was so righteous and high-spirited. Now, she was like a clown being toyed with by them. Apart from being humiliated, embarrassed, and humiliated, she also felt humiliated. And these were all caused by Gu Lingqing. She could only pretend that she didn't hear anything. She opened her suitcase and made sure that her luggage was inside. Then, she zipped it up and stood up. Song Shiyu was infuriated by her arrogance. She stood in front of Bai Ye and said, "Didn't you hear what I said? Or are you putting on airs? Madam Gu, I want to leave now. Are you standing in front of me because you can't bear to leave me? Why don't I stay here tonight?" Bai Ye said coldly. "Don't be a bad woman," Song Shiyu said in a low voice and stood at the side. Bai Ye pulled her suitcase out. Chapter 216. She didn't want to look at him again and walked towards the guard coldly. She didn't know how she walked out of Gu Lingqing's place. She only knew that she walked quickly and straightened her back. She tried not to look too embarrassed. Even if she lost love and heart, she didn't want to lose her dignity. A car stopped beside her. Lieutenant Colonel Song lowered the window. "The chief asked me to send you away." She didn't want to stay here for a moment. She opened the back door and put her luggage in. She sat beside the luggage and closed her eyes. She leaned against the seat and said, "Go to Shuiyu International. Call me when you get there." "Okay," Lieutenant Colonel Song replied and drove away. Gu Lingqing stood by the window and watched Bai Ye get into the car. His eyes were as dark as ink. His phone rang. It was a series of numbers. He remembered that it was the chief of the Civil Affairs Bureau. He picked up the call gloomily. "What's the matter?" Gu Lingqing asked coldly. Chief, your and your wife's marriage certificate has been restored. When are you free?" "Come and get it," the chief said nervously. "Didn't you say that we need 2 people to take a new photo?" Gu Lingqing was surprised. He couldn't suppress the excitement in his eyes. "It was like that. All your information is gone, but one of my colleagues made a copy of your and your wife's photo. She thought that you two are too good-looking." "I'm sorry," the chief apologized. With the photo, he could ignore the employee's mistake. "Has the information been recorded into the computer? My colleague thought that you two were celebrities. She even secretly made a copy of your household register. I will definitely punish her. Your information has been recorded. You are now a legal husband and wife. You can check it online," the chief explained. Gu Lingqing's brows furrowed as he stared ahead. The image of her resolute departure flashed across his mind. He wanted to be with her. "Send the marriage certificate to the military base now. Call me when you reach the gate." As soon as Gu Lingqing hung up, the door was pushed open by Zhou Hailan. She smiled brightly and shouted excitedly, "Ah Qing, didn't I already have the title of lieutenant colonel? Uncle told me to come to the special military region to be an instructor for the new recruits. I think it's a good idea to start adapting to the position of an assistant instructor, but he wants to ask for your opinion. What do you think?" He didn't think much of it. Looking at her gloved hands, he frowned and said, "The training in the special forces is extremely strict. Most of the time, the instructor has to accompany you outside, whether it's rain or scorching sun. Your body hasn't recovered yet, so this kind of intense training isn't suitable for you. I'll arrange a clerical job for you first. Is the civilian position in your special forces?" Zhou Hailan asked. "I'll make arrangements based on the situation." This meant that he might not be in the special forces. "It's okay, I can persist. I want to be with you. If I can't even overcome this little difficulty, how can I overcome bigger difficulties? Ah Qing, just promise me. I can endure any hardship." Zhou Hailan shook Gu Lingqing's hands and said coquettishly. Gu Lingqing's eyes deepened. "Are you sure you can overcome all the difficulties?" "I can," Zhou Hailan said firmly. "I'll arrange for you to live with the new recruits, is that okay?" Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. "I can live here with you. It's very spacious here. My place is spacious and quiet. I even have an orderly to serve you. But as the instructor of the special forces, do you think it's appropriate for you to live comfortably?" Zhou Hailan paused. "Then let me be your orderly. I'll take care of you. Anyway, no matter what you arrange, I just want to be with you. Hailan, you've been a soldier before. I'm a senior officer. I can't let you stay here. Go out. I need to change." "Ha!" Zhou Hailan laughed like a silver bell. "You're already 33 this year. You're still as shy as when you were 23. I'm your girlfriend. Why can't I see you?" "Hailan, I'm married," Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Zhou Hailan looked at Gu Lingqing in disbelief. "How is that possible? How can you be married? If you're married, where's your wife? If you're married, why would uncle and auntie matchmake us? I've never heard that you're married." "Ah Qing, don't make such a joke. I don't like it. My heart can't take it. I'm not joking. You're free now. You won't be locked up again. If you want to continue your life as a soldier, I can help you get used to the military. If you want a comfortable life, I can arrange it," Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Zhou Hailon shivered. He looked down and his eyes were empty. He mumbled to himself, Ah Qing likes me. Ah Qing only likes me. Ah Qing will marry me. Ah Qing will marry me. Ah Qing isn't a heartless person. I'm going to find Ah Qing. Zhou Hailon, Gu Lingqing shouted. Zhou Hailon didn't seem to see Gu Lingqing. He walked out and saw Song Shiyu. He went forward and asked, Hello, have you seen Ah Qing? His name is Gu Lingqing. He's tall and handsome. He's in the special forces. He's Gu Lingqing who will become a general one day. Song Shiyu looked at Gu Lingqing who was behind Zhou Hailon. Zhou Hailon followed Song Shiyu's gaze and looked at Gu Lingqing. She ran over and shouted, Brother, have you seen Ah Qing? He's tall and about 185 meters. He's very handsome. He's an outstanding special forces soldier and also my boyfriend. I can't find him. Gu Lingqing frowned and looked deeply at Zhou Hailon who had gone crazy again. Lingqing, what's going on with Hailon? Song Shiyu asked in confusion. Lingqing. You're Ah Qing. Why do you pretend that you don't know me? You saw that I was burned in the fire. Don't you want me anymore? Zhou Hailon held Gu Lingqing's arm. Big drops of tears rolled down her face. If you don't want me, I don't want to live anymore. What's the point of living? She said and ran towards the wall. Gu Lingqing held her back. Zhou Hailon fell into Gu Lingqing's arms because of the force. She sobbed and begged, Ah Qing, don't leave me. I only have you. Without you, I really don't have any meaning to live. Gu Lingqing looked forward. I'll ask someone to send you back to rest. You're too tired. You need to rest. I'm not tired. I want to stay here with you. Zhou Hailon hugged Gu Lingqing tightly. Chapter 217. If Zhou Hailon appeared when he didn't know Baiya, maybe he would let her stay and take care of her. However, Baiya appeared in his life. If he let her stay, Baiya would definitely be angry and sad. He couldn't turn a blind eye to it. He cared about Baiya's thoughts. Hailon, this place isn't suitable for you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. How is it not suitable? When I was locked up, I thought about you every day. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 8 years have passed. I thought that I would spend every minute with you in the future to make up for the 8 years we didn't spend together. You have to go now. I'm leaving. Zhou Hailon began to lose his composure again. Gu Lingqing. Gu Tianhang shouted his full name with the dignity of a father. He lectured, Zhou Hailon was burned half of her body to protect you. She was even captured by the enemy. You know how ruthless those enemies are. When she was rescued, there was not a single part of her body that was unharmed. Her mind was also in disorder. She was locked up for treatment. Every skin graft was extremely painful. This is not something that ordinary people can endure. He and Zhou Hailon knew each other first. You were a couple before. Zhou Hailon did nothing wrong. If you abandon her, you will be heartless. Who is Baiya? She's just a bitch who overestimates herself. She was married before. She seduced you before she got divorced. It shows how low her moral character is. She's a shameless slut. Even if she marries you, she won't be content. I can't afford to lose my face. If you want to be with her, you won't have any political future. Don't be so obsessed that you don't know what you should do. Ah Qing, do you like someone else? Zhou Hailon's chest heaved up and down as he asked. She and I are married. I'm sorry. I'll get someone to send you back. Gu Lingqing turned around and ordered the orderly, get someone to send her back. She'll stay here today. I will make the decision, Gu Tianhang ordered. Gu Lingqing didn't look back. He strode out, and his cold expression became more resolute. He could take care of Zhou Hailan for the rest of her life and help her recover, but he knew his own heart. It had already begun to shift. All he could think about was Baiya. Her every word, every expression, could tug at his heart and change his mood. He called Lieutenant Colonel Song and asked, "Where did she ask you to send her?" Lieutenant Colonel Song looked at Baiya, who was asleep in the back seat. "Send her to Water Moon International. Send him to Blue Sky Courtyard. I'll go there now," Gu Lingqing ordered. He hung up the phone without hesitation and called the director. "Where are you now?" "Chief, I've already left. I'm on my way to the military base," the director said respectfully. "You'll pass by the paddock on your way to the military base. Wait for me at the east gate of the paddock. I'll be there in about half an hour," Gu Lingqing ordered. He got in the car and drove at a speed of 180 kilometers per hour. Zhou Hailan looked in the direction where Gu Lingqing left. "Ah Qing, don't you want me anymore?" "Don't worry. I'll make the decision. He can't be with that B*TCH, Gu Tianhang said with certainty. Zhou Hailan looked at Gu Tianhang pitifully. "You'll live here from now on," Gu Tianhang said seriously. Song Shiyu frowned and looked at Gu Tianhang, then at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan was arranged to rest in Gu Lingqing's room. "Will we put too much pressure on Lingqing?" Song Shiyu said worriedly. "Anyway, he can't marry that B*TCH, Baiya. She's Xiong Dani's daughter-in-law. She's already a pair of used shoes. Xiong Dani is Su Zhang's sister-in-law. I can't afford to lose face like this. She knew that we kidnapped her, but she still threatened us. How can she be my daughter-in-law? Zhou Hailan is different. She's made contributions and fought for the honor of the country. She's also Lingqing's comrade. Now that she's disfigured, Lingqing still wants to marry her. He can establish his authority and make a big deal out of it. Maybe this time, Lingqing can become the president," Gu Tianhang analyzed. "Although I don't like Baiya, I also feel that this Zhou Hailan is a little strange. She's not my ideal daughter-in-law. It's a pity for Xiaoling. Actually, I like Xiaoling the most." Song Shiyu sighed. "What can we do if your son doesn't like Su Xiaoling? The marriage has been delayed again and again, and he even threatened us with a broken finger. Now, it's the Su family who proposed to cancel the engagement, not the Gu family. Besides, the love between a man and a woman doesn't last long. What we want is long-term benefits. Let's wait and see," Gu Tianhang said in a low voice. Said. Song Shiyu sensed that Gu Tianhang had other plans. She suddenly felt a chill in her heart. The love between a man and a woman doesn't last long. Does that mean between them? Therefore, she and Gu Tianhang had nothing to do with love, but she gave birth to his child and wasted her youth. Song Shiyu lowered her head. "I'll stay here to accompany Zhou Hailan. After all, the orderly is a man, so it's not convenient. It's not convenient for you to stay here either. Since Zhou Hailan is going to stay here for a long time, he definitely needs a female orderly. I'll just give the order. You should go back with me. The company still needs you. It's a waste of your talents to take care of someone," Gu Tianhang said sternly. "Should I thank you for giving me such a high evaluation? Or should I thank myself for being so capable and having a good background, so that I can become your wife, Gu Tianhang's woman?" Song Shiyu mocked herself. The corners of her mouth twitched. Without looking at Gu Tianhang, she walked out of the room. Go. Gu Tianheng frowned. I don't know what's wrong with you. It's not that you don't know. You don't even want to understand why I'm going crazy, Gu Tianheng. People's hearts are mutual, Song Shiyu said dejectedly. I'm talking to you about Ling Qing. You're talking to me about people's hearts. Are you going against me? Gu Tianheng said angrily. Song Shiyu couldn't be bothered to argue with him. He was used to being high and mighty. He never gave others any leeway. Even if it was his own fault, in his eyes, it was someone else's fault. He was strong, domineering, and a master. I'll go back first. Song Shiyu lowered her eyes and walked out of the door. Baya woke up. She felt a hand on her waist. She turned around and saw Gu Lingqing sleeping beside her. There was a drop of water on her hand. Her mind was blank for a moment. Why was he sleeping beside her? Why was there a drop of medicine on her hand? This was Gu Lingqing's blue sky courtyard. The moment Baya moved, Gu Lingqing woke up. He looked at the drop of medicine in Baya's hand. There was still half a bottle left. Chapter 2:18. Why am I here? Baya asked in surprise. She remembered that Lieutenant Colonel Song had sent it to Shueiyue International. Besides, wasn't he with Zhou Hailon? Gu Lingqing saw the doubt in her eyes and explained patiently, I asked Lieutenant Colonel Song to send it here. You still have a fever and are in a coma. I have found a doctor to see you. I have changed the medicine for your chest wound. It hasn't healed yet. You are a doctor. Why don't you care about yourself? The more she said, the more distressed Gu Lingqing was. Baya was too competitive, so she had to bear everything alone. Even if she couldn't bear it, she didn't say anything. Baya understood how she came to Blue Sky Courtyard, but she didn't understand. Aren't you in the military? Where are Zhou Hailon and your parents? She asked coldly. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. He turned off the alarm clock on his phone and put the phone on the table beside the bed. He sat up and looked at Baya with burning eyes. I have news for you. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing suspiciously. What news? She wanted to sit up, but Gu Lingqing was afraid that she would pull the wound that was not easy to heal, so he helped her and put the pillow behind her waist. Thank you. Baya said politely. There's no need for thanks between us. Gu Lingqing said. Baya lowered her head and didn't say anything. He didn't like her unpredictable feeling, as if she would disappear at any time. The director of the Civil Affairs Bureau called me and said that our information had been recorded into the computer. Now we can see our registered information on the internet. You and I are legally married. Gu Lingqing said. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing in disbelief. We are legally married now. How is that possible? I tore the marriage certificate. Now, all the information will be recorded into the computer. It doesn't matter if the marriage certificate is gone, just print another one. Look, it's exactly the same as ours. Gu Lingqing opened the drawer of the bedside table, took out the marriage certificate, and handed it to Baya. Baya's hands trembled as she took the marriage certificate and opened it. In the photo, both of them were smiling sweetly. She felt that the two people laughing were not them at all. She clearly tore it up, and Su Jiran also said that as long as she tore up the marriage certificate, there would be no records in the Civil Affairs Bureau. How could this be? Gu Lingqing. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing expectantly. I disagree. Gu Lingqing rejected Baya. He knew that she didn't want to get married. Baya, you can stay where you are. Even if you retreat, I'll chase after you. But don't hide. I'm afraid that I won't be able to find you. Baya frowned and turned her face away. We're husband and wife. If there's any problem, we'll solve it together, Gu Lingqing said softly. Women are the softest in the world, and also the toughest people in the world. If they loved a man, as long as the man was a little bit good, they would contribute their whole world. As long as the man had the intention to make peace, if there was love, they would forget the scars. A man who didn't love someone, even if the man lost his life for her, would not go to his side. Marriage, Zhou Hailan, illness, had tortured her very much, and she had no strength to fight against fate. When she couldn't make a decision immediately, she would give herself more time. After all, life wouldn't end tomorrow. Time would dilute everything and verify everything. So, when she was troubled, confused, and hesitant, she would let time settle it. Didn't you say that Zhou Hailan had a mental problem last time? If you trust me, I can help her, Baiya said. Gu Lingqing smiled and held Baiya's naked hand tightly. With your help, she'll recover quickly. You didn't agree to it before, Baiya blurted out. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. I didn't know that they came to my place. I've already told Zhou Hailan that we're married. Baiya looked down and took a deep breath. She looked at Gu Lingqing. Actually, it's easier to understand a child's emotions. Their expressions aren't complicated, and it's easy to guess their real thoughts. For example, when they pass by an ice cream shop, they'll want ice cream. If they don't give it to them, they'll cry and even hit people. What do you think a parent should do at this time? Baiya asked. Gu Lingqing thought about it seriously. If it's a boy, I won't give it to him. If he cries and throws a tantrum, I'll make him stand upright. If he hits people, I'll teach him a lesson. If it's a girl, I'll pamper her a little more, Gu Lingqing said honestly. The child is still young, so they don't have a big reason to convince the other party to buy ice cream. Crying and throwing a tantrum is their only strategy. They tell their parents that they want it, and they're unhappy. They're using their parents' love. If they buy ice cream because of their crying, then the crying will be worse the next time. Because they know that this method is effective, Baiya said calmly. Gu Lingqing understood what she was trying to say. Baiya smiled. You treated Zhou Hailan the same way. As long as you cry, you'll get what you want. Then, the crying will only be worse the next time. Then what do you think I should do? Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. Why do you think parents don't buy ice cream for their children? Baiya asked. The sugar content is too high. It's not good for the body if it's cold. Maybe they think it's too expensive, Gu Lingqing guessed. The child is still young. Their outlook on the world, life, and values haven't been formed yet. Parents are guardians who will protect them. They know what's good for the child and what's bad for the child. Gu Lingqing, what do you think is good for Zhou Hailan? Baiya asked to guide her. I want her to find her confidence, live an independent life, and find the person she really needs, Gu Lingqing expressed. Baiya smiled. If the following words were said to an unfamiliar patient's family member, she would say it very easily. However, the patient was Gu Lingqing, and the patient was his ex-girlfriend. If she were to say it as his current girlfriend, it would make people think that she was narrow-minded. So, she didn't say it out loud. If Zhou Hailan doesn't like me, I can recommend someone to you. He's a legend in our school, my senior. He became famous before I did, and he's very powerful. I trust you, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya's eyes became clear. She said what she didn't finish saying, then, I request that you don't take care of Zhou Hailan personally. Don't give her any hope. Can you do that? Only when you give her despair can she find the person she really needs. She will also become independent and become confident in the pursuit and support of others. Chapter 219. Okay. Gu Lingqing answered. It was just a simple word, but she felt like a surging wave hitting a rock. No matter how big the ice was, it would be broken. It was a trust that she had gone through so much. Finally, there was a little warmth in her heart. Baiya's cold expression melted a little. She lowered her eyes and slowly leaned against the back of the bed. Are you going to lie down? Gu Lingqing asked and immediately took the pillow away. Baiya held his hand and stopped him. She softened her voice and asked, What's wrong with you? Have you had dinner? I'll cook for you later. You are a patient. It's not appropriate for me to ask you to cook. Let's eat out tonight. Is there anything you want to eat? Gu Lingqing asked worriedly. Baiya thought for a while. When I was studying in the United States, what I wanted to eat the most were pot chicken, roast duck, and chopped pepper fish head. I remember there was a very famous restaurant near my school. Do you want to go and eat together? Baiya invited. Gu Lingqing smiled. Okay. I'm quite interested in the dishes you mentioned. Besides, do you know what my favorite dish is? Baiya shook her head honestly. When Gu Lingqing was with her, he was not a picky eater. Whatever she cooked, he would eat it. He always respected her. I only know that you don't eat crayfish. You are allergic to crayfish. Baiya recalled. My favorite dish is braised pork with preserved vegetables. It goes well with rice. But in order not to let others know that I like it, I don't eat it in the military. Do you know how to cook braised pork with preserved vegetables? Gu Lingqing asked. Baiya didn't expect him to be so ordinary. His favorite dish was braised pork with preserved vegetables instead of delicacies. She nodded. I know how to cook it. My braised pork with preserved vegetables is sweet. Is it okay? Baiya tested his taste. Okay. In the future, when we eat at home, I will also cook some. We can cook together. Gu Lingqing smiled slightly. His smile was faint. That was his personality. But when he smiled, he looked very good. Then I'll be the head chef. I'll have to trouble you to be my assistant. Baiya took advantage of him. Sure. Gu Lingqing sat next to her and leaned against the back of the bed. She looked at her with a burning gaze and said, You will definitely be an outstanding mother. Baiya's heart sank. Have you found our child? Gu Lingqing shook his head. No news at all. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. There was a time when I thought that he was already dead, but since I didn't see his body, there was always a glimmer of hope and luck. Baiya's expression dimmed. Let's have a few more. I will protect our children. I like both boys and girls. When I heard the story about the children eating ice cream, I had a longing for it, Gu Lingqing said with her eyes shining. She was 28 this year, and it was time for her to have a child. However, she had to stop taking medicine. She was a little worried that she would get sick if she stopped taking medicine. His cell phone rang. She looked for her bag. Gu Lingqing took out her bag from the bedside table, took out the phone and passed it to her. Baiya saw a series of numbers, but she knew that this number was Qing Jinrong's. It was probably LV Xingzhou who asked him to call. She had been waiting for this call for a long time. Xiaoya, it's Qing Jinrong. Have you eaten? Qing Jinrong asked enthusiastically. Baiya wanted to go out for lunch with Gu Lingqing. I'm going out for lunch soon. I have an appointment with someone. What's the matter? Qing Jinrong didn't expect Baiya to reject him tactfully. Are you free tomorrow? Let's have lunch together at noon. Secretary LV still has some details to discuss with you. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Let's meet at Water Moon International's Tianyu Tea House. Bai Ye ended the call. Who are you meeting at 11 a.m. tomorrow? Gu Lingqing tried to make her tone calm, but she couldn't hide the jealousy in her voice. I told you before. It's a client. You're not unfamiliar with this client, LV Xingzhou. Bai Ye didn't hide anything. How do you know him? Gu Lingqing was surprised. It was a coincidence. His son has a mental illness, and he happened to find me. How's your investigation with LV Liangqing? Bai Ye asked. LV Liangqing was promoted by LV Xingzhou. Jinyang City is an ancient city, and many places are layers of ruins. After LV Liangqing became the mayor, he secretly established a construction company. On the surface, he built houses in areas that could be developed, but in fact, he sold the excavated cultural relics. There's evidence of LV Liangqing's crimes, and the cultural relics he unearthed are all mixed up in the black market. It's only a matter of time before LV Liangqing steps down. However, we can't find any connection between him and other people, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. 3 years have passed. I think it's time to control LV Liangqing. If he escapes, it'll be a waste of manpower and resources. Moreover, it's obvious that other people are more difficult to deal with than LV Liangqing. LV Xingzhou might be a breakthrough, Bai Ye analyzed. LV Xingzhou is indeed more difficult to deal with than LV Liangqing. He's meticulous and meticulous. It won't be easy to break through from his side. More importantly, it's too dangerous for you to go alone, Gu Lingqing said worriedly. I promised Tang Xiaozhou that I would help him find the murderer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be with you. Now that 3.5 years have passed, I haven't done anything. I must go, Bai Ye said firmly. Gu Lingqing frowned. He didn't have any past memories, so he didn't remember the details of his time with Bai Ye. He found out that LV Liangqing was related to the Tangqian village massacre case, but he didn't know about Bai Ye's promise to Tang Xiaozhou. In these 3 years, he had too many things to do, so he didn't pay much attention to the Tangqian village incident. I know, I'll send someone to protect you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Bai Ye remembered that when she went to Jinyang City alone, he also secretly sent someone to protect her. At that time, she was very touched. If you send someone, it'll make LV Xingzhou suspicious, and I'll be in more danger. Don't worry, I'll protect myself, Bai Ye promised. If there's danger, it'll be too late. I agree to let you go, but I'll send someone to protect you. That way, I'll be at ease. Bai Ye didn't want to argue with him over this issue. Go ahead, but don't let me know who it is. I'm hungry, let's go eat. Your medicine isn't finished yet. Gu Lingqing glanced at the medicine bottle. Bai Ye pulled out the needle smoothly. I'm a doctor, I know what dosage is enough. Let's go. Gu Lingqing held her hand with heartache. Looking at the needle hole on the back of her hand, he said with heartache, Bai Ye, you'll hurt yourself if you pull it out like that. I'll pull it out too. Bai Ye smiled. She was used to being alone. She was afraid that she had someone to rely on, but when she didn't, she would rather die. I know. Let's go. You have more money, so you treat. Bai Ye walked in front. Chapter 220. The place Bai Ye went to was near the university. The restaurant was in an alley, so they couldn't drive in. They had to walk past the university. At the gate of Bai Ye's alma mater, students were coming in and out. It had been almost 7 years since she graduated. Seeing her alma mater again gave her an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Do you know what I wanted the most when I was in university? Bai Ye asked Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye and guessed, graduation. Bai Ye smiled, her eyes curved. You're right. I wanted to leave this university. Why? Gu Lingqing didn't understand. You should have good grades. Actually, I think it's easy to change a person's outlook on life and values in university. Because of the gap between the rich and the poor, because of the psychological gap, because of the hurt in love, because of the inability to live, because of the colorful life, because of the friends, because of all kinds of temptations. After leaving university, the change in outlook on life, values, and the world is mostly due to a major change in life, by your side. I remember that every university has a counseling room with some part-time psychologists. Gu Lingqing followed up on Bai Ye's topic of conversation. The people from the Mu Shaoxing Research Center have counseling in almost all the universities. But actually, many people don't have a strong awareness of this. Most people do it because they want to save face, and some don't think they have a mental illness. Do you know how many times more people commit suicide because of depression this year than 10 years ago? Bai Ye and Gu Lingqing chatted naturally. I don't know much about this, but I think there are more and more people with mental problems nowadays. Last time I listened to a class, the general meaning was that everyone has mental problems, more or less. 2 out of 10 people will have depression. I'm very curious, why did you go from a gynecologist to a psychiatrist? Become a psychiatrist? Gu Lingqing asked. A student rushed out of the university on a bicycle. Gu Lingqing grabbed Bai Ye's waist and pulled her to his side. Bai Ye didn't refuse, and he didn't let go of her hand either. The light from the street lamp fell on the two of them, gilding them with a warm glow. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing. There were several reasons why she chose to study psychology. Firstly, she met Mu Shaoxing by chance. Secondly, her mother was mentally ill. Thirdly, she felt that she had a big mental problem. It was not just depression. She wanted to save herself. However, she didn't want to tell him that she was mentally ill. Various reasons. When my mother recovers, I'll take you to see her. Okay, Gu Lingqing answered and didn't say anything else. Bai Ye didn't say anything. She quietly enjoyed the beauty of being together. The wind blowing on her face wasn't as cold as she had imagined. Gu Lingqing took off his suit jacket and put it on her. Bai Ye gathered her clothes and said softly, "Thank you." He held her hand. How far is that place from here? It's not far. It should be here. Bai Ye looked around and frowned slightly. The area around the school had changed a lot. Many high-rise buildings had been built, and the small shops from before were gone. I remember there's a small shop here. It's opened by a husband and wife. They have a little daughter. She's very cute and chubby. She can't tell us apart. You tell her that you're bad, and she'll angrily reply that I'm bad. Their Christian carp tofu is very delicious. The freshly slaughtered Christian carp is cooked in a white broth. It's especially delicious. It's only 10 yuan. Rice is 1 yuan, and you can eat your fill for 11 yuan. Especially the winter gourd ribs. The ribs are cooked in advance, and the taste is especially good. It's only 15 yuan a bowl, Bai Ye recalled. What you said makes me want to eat it, Gu Lingqing replied with a deadpan expression. Bai Ye smiled. Unfortunately, we can't get chicken in a jar today. You've made a wasted trip. Aren't there many restaurants here? You can just find one. Gu Lingqing dragged her to a restaurant that was 180 square meters. There were many people having dinner. There was an NBA game on the TV in the restaurant, and a group of hot-blooded male students surrounded it. Bai Ye instantly felt like she had returned to her university days. She chose a seat at the back and wiped the table with a napkin. The waitress of the restaurant came over. Pretty lady, handsome guy, what would you like to eat? Bai Ye saw the waitress, and her eyes flashed with surprise. Lady boss, it's you. Your restaurant has become so big now. Ho ho. The previous shop was demolished. This shop was bought by our family. The lady boss said honestly. Boss, your family cooks good food. You should have bought a bigger shop. Do you still have tofu, crucian carp and winter gourd ribs? Baya asked. Yes, yes. These are our signature dishes. What else do you want? The lady boss passed the menu over. Do you have braised pork with preserved vegetables and winter gourd chicken? Baya asked. Yes, we have both. Then I'll have tofu, crucian carp, winter gourd ribs, winter gourd chicken, braised pork with preserved vegetables, and a big bottle of Sprite. The fish must be alive, Baya ordered. All right. The lady boss went to the kitchen. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing smiled, and his facial features softened. What are you smiling at? Baya was confused. When I first met you, I felt that you were very cold. You didn't have a smile on your face when dealing with people and things. Even if you did smile, it was with alienation and defensiveness. I really wanted to know more about you. The more I interacted with you, the more I realized that you have a fiery heart. When you're passionate, you can melt ice and snow. Gu Lingqing said seriously. Let me give you some general knowledge. It's like this. Actually, everyone has many personalities hidden in them. Some are kind, some are dark, some are cold, and some are passionate. Because of the difference in mood, character, purpose, and environment, they will show different aspects of their personalities. Let me give you an example. There was once a case of dismemberment that caused a sensation in the country. The murderer was a professor. This professor was cultured and refined. He was knowledgeable. His lectures were lively and interesting. He was kind and charitable. He was very handsome. He treated his wife very well and loved his son very much. He treated people sincerely and had a mellow temper. Everyone felt that he was almost a perfect person. On the day of the crime, it was raining. He was on duty, and his wife and son were traveling abroad. He was browsing adult websites in the dormitory and happened to be seduced by the campus belle. He slept with the girl. After sleeping with her, the girl recorded everything and forced the professor to marry her. The professor was so angry that he killed the girl. His method of committing the crime was cruel and perfect. No one found out that it was him. 20 years later, he turned himself in. Gu Lingqing listened to her patiently and kissed her on the forehead. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. At this moment, you're facing me. I kissed you, and this is your reaction. Gu Lingqing was a little disappointed. Baya supported her head with one hand and pointed at the table in the corner. Gu Lingqing looked in the direction where Baya was pointing. Chapter 221. Gu Lingqing didn't quite understand what Baya meant. Did she not want to answer his question directly, or did she just want him to look? He frowned slightly and kissed her lips. Baya stepped back. That's not what I meant. Then what do you mean? Gu Lingqing asked. Let me tell you something. Do you know why college students are more likely to do intimate things like hugging and living as if there's no one else around? Baya asked. She was indeed avoiding his question. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. Say it. It was just a simple word, but it was full of harshness and vaguely displeasure. Baya could ignore it. She analyzed it from a professional point of view. Firstly, it's the influence of the atmosphere. This kind of hugging and kissing behavior is common in school. No one will think it's awkward and special. Secondly, this is the age where people are the most impulsive. Hormones are easily triggered, and they are controlled by some kind of primitive impulse. Thirdly, they haven't really stepped into society. They have experienced fewer setbacks and experiences, so they don't think much. They don't care about other people's opinions and do whatever they want. Does what you're saying have anything to do with me? Gu Lingqing was still sulking and looked at her with burning eyes. Bai Ye looked back at him and didn't hide. Gu Lingqing actually understood what she was trying to say. Bai Ye, I think sometimes you like to say half of what you say and let others guess the other half. Bai Ye smiled. You actually guessed it, right? It might not be so hurtful to express it tactfully. Gu Lingqing pressed the back of her head and kissed her lips. Bai Ye didn't push him away. His red tongue entered her mouth. It was strong and fierce, no less than the pair of students. He swallowed all of her breath and poured his own breath into her body. Gu Lingqing only let go of her when the lady boss came to serve the dishes. Bai Ye blushed. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of her mouth. Firstly, the atmosphere here is really good. Secondly, the impulse doesn't lie in the age, but in the partner. Thirdly, kissing you was a decision I made after careful consideration. Bai Ye turned her face away. Her heart was beating too fast. For a moment just now, it really felt like the feeling of first love. She got rid of all distracting thoughts, but when she thought of the kiss in public, she still felt very shy. The lady boss was already used to this kind of kissing scene. She smiled at Bai Ye and said, "The drinks are here. Let's have the jar chicken and braised pork with preserved vegetables first. As for the other two dishes, you can wait for another 20 minutes. Now that we've opened 2 pots, they'll be ready very quickly." "Thank you, lady boss," Bai Ye said embarrassedly. Gu Lingqing opened the can and poured some for Bai Ye. "How did it feel to kiss you just now?" Bai Ye felt guilty. She had always been thin-skinned. She couldn't say it out loud, so she took a big sip of the drink. "I felt pretty good." It was very free, Gu Lingqing said to himself. He picked up the drink and took a sip. Bai Ye looked at him. He was looking at her with a burning gaze. His eyes were filled with her. It was like a whirlpool, sucking her in and never letting her out again. The cheers of the students rang out. Bai Ye felt awkward. She looked away and looked at the TV. The Lakers scored. "Do you like to watch basketball?" Gu Lingqing asked. "When I was in America, I went to watch a few NBA games," Bai Ye said casually. Her gaze was still on the game. Gu Lingqing didn't change his expression. "Which team do you like?" "I don't have a particular preference. The game I watched was between the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers won. I just wanted to feel the atmosphere and observe the expressions of the characters," Bai Ye explained. "For homework." Gu Lingqing guessed. "Did you notice anything after watching it?" Bai Ye smiled and looked at Gu Lingqing. "Yes, I wrote a thesis and published it. Not only did I get a good fee, but I was also praised by my tutor. After that, many companies approached me and I earned a lot of money." Gu Lingqing liked the confident smile on her face. Her confidence was gentle like water. It made his soul happy. "How did you earn money?" "I'm curious." "Actually, this has to do with a country's culture and acceptance level. In our country, there aren't many people who accept psychology. Even if some people know that they have psychological problems, they won't go to see a doctor. It's the same for depression. But overseas, it's common for them to see a psychologist. That's why there are many psychological clinics. After I reported it, many sales companies would invite me to teach their employees. I understand the hearts of customers and use their micro-expressions to reflect their real needs. After I became famous, the FBI also invited me to help. After solving a few cold cases, I often appeared in the newspapers and on TV. I'm well known in the industry. After that, many successful people would meet me alone. Baiya gave a simple introduction. You have the ability to enjoy this achievement. It's what you should do. Gu Lingqing felt that it was a pity that he didn't experience such an exciting process with her. He ate a mouthful of braised pork with preserved vegetables. Baiya observed his expression. She couldn't tell whether he thought it was delicious or not. For most people, there was a small part that was different from ordinary people and hard to understand. Baiya lowered her head to eat. Maybe she hadn't eaten well for a few days, or maybe the food here had the taste of her memories. Before the tofu Christian carp and winter melon ribs were served, she finished a bowl. When the tofu Christian carp and winter melon ribs were served, she ate another bowl. Gu Lingqing saw that she ate a lot and was in a good mood, so he ate 2 bowls with her. When I came, I saw many motels and hotels near the school. We'll stay here tonight. Gu Lingqing was stating the facts. Luckily, Baiya had already finished eating, or she would have spat out her food. Stay here. I'm tired. Gu Lingqing only said 2 simple words. How about I drive? Baiya asked tentatively. It's tiring to drive. Baiya, because it wasn't a Friday or Saturday, there were many rooms near the university. Gu Lingqing brought Baiya to an express hotel. He took out his ID, not his military ID. The receptionist looked at Gu Lingqing's ID, then at Gu Lingqing. She looked at Baiya's ID, then at Baiya. She had a strange expression on her face and checked them in. The expression on the girl's face just now was very strange. Why? Gu Lingqing asked. We don't look like students at our age. Her expression was strange. She must have thought of a lot of abnormal information. Baiya didn't care and said with a smile. What abnormal information? Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya and asked. He looked calm, but a little guilty. Was the message he was trying to convey that obvious? For example, having an affair. Baiya explained. Chapter 222. Gu Lingqing frowned slightly and held Baiya's waist, pulling her to his side. Can't a student's parent do it? They were clearly legally married, okay? Even if he wanted her, it was only natural. Baiya chuckled. How can a student's parent be so young? A student's brother and sister-in-law. Is this okay? The address on my ID is not far from here, less than an hour away. I don't live at home and came here. It's normal for her to think wrongly. Gu Lingqing turned around and pressed Baiya against the wall. Then do something. My wound is not healed yet. Baiya rejected him tactfully. I know how not to hurt you. Gu Lingqing lowered his voice and said in a hoarse voice. Baiya blushed all the way to her ears. Gu Lingqing did not wait for her to think clearly. He carried her into the room and went straight to the bathroom. The wound is already scabbed. I can wash it myself. Baiya shyly wanted to get down. It's not like I haven't seen it before. I'll wash it for you. Gu Lingqing said domineeringly and put Baiya down. Can I take a bath? Baiya shook her head. It's best not to do it before the scar falls off. You can only use the shower to wash it. Okay. Gu Lingqing responded and unbuttoned her shirt. Most of it had healed, except for the deepest part of her chest. He touched it with his finger and brushed it. How did you get hurt here? When I found out that you went to see Zhou Hailan, I lost my temper and smashed everything in your room. I tripped myself while walking and happened to hit a piece of porcelain. Baiya laughed as she said, Did you think that you deserve it? But when she thought of the situation at that time, her heart still ached. In terms of dealing with relationships, she had 2 failed relationships. So, she was more sensitive and less confident. She knew she had a problem. It's also my problem. I was shocked to find out that Harland was still alive. When I went to see her, I realized that she was very different from before. Half of her body was burned in the fire, and she was imprisoned by the enemy for a few years. After she was rescued, she kept looking for information and went crazy. First of all, I was afraid that you would be angry, so I didn't tell you. Secondly, she wasn't in the right state of mind. I waited until she fell asleep before I left. I didn't know you'd hurt yourself. I'm sorry. Gu Lingqing apologized sincerely. Bai Ye's eyes were a little red. For me, it's better for her to be alive than dead. I should feel lucky, Bai Ye said meaningfully. Ha! Gu Lingqing was confused. She just smiled, took the initiative to wrap her arms around the back of Gu Lingqing's neck, and gave her a kiss. Her lips were cold and unusually soft. It was rare for her to take the initiative. He held her waist, pulled her to his side, and deepened the kiss. His breathing gradually became uneven. Her heart was pressed against her heart. A certain part had also awakened, and it was pressed against her abdomen. Bai Ye closed her eyes, and her eyelashes trembled slightly. It was not until she was panting from the kiss that Gu Lingqing let go of her. After the two of them showered, he carried her to the bed. Bai Ye thought he would come to her directly. He had always been domineering, tough and domineering. But he didn't, and his hand was on her knee. Bai Ye was shy, and she turned her face away. Because of nervousness, her hands were clenched into fists. He kissed her wound. Bai Ye looked at him. Gu Lingqing smiled softly and stroked her cheek with his hand. Although I've forgotten how I made you fall in love with me in the past, I may be too domineering and tyrannical, but I will seriously consider what you say. I will also try my best to achieve what you want. You can quarrel with me, but you can. You can quarrel with me, but we're already married, and divorce is impossible. Do you know that? Bai Ye's eyes were full of tears, sparkling under the light, with a shimmering luster. He had said similar words to her before he lost his memory. This Gu Lingqing overlapped with the man she loved in the past. Thank you for tolerating my willfulness and stubbornness, Bai Ye said, choking. Gu Lingqing kissed her lips. I'm the one thanking you, and I'm also thanking fate for giving me a chance. He was talking about the fact that they were married. But she didn't really thank fate. The past was too hurtful, so as long as there was a little hope of happiness, she would want to grasp it. Women were really contradictory creatures. In the end, sensibility won over rationality. Gu Lingqing's kiss gradually moved downwards, past her collarbone, wound, abdomen, and then downwards. Bai Ye hadn't had sex with him for a long time, so she was especially sensitive. As soon as he touched her, she reacted. Almost subconsciously, she pushed his shoulder. He held her hand and kissed her deeply. The room was filled with charming sounds, delicate and especially pleasant to the ears. He waited for her to first, before he took her. Afraid that he would press on her wound that had just formed a scar, she let him sit on his abdomen, using the strength of his arm. He had wanted to do it inside. He wanted to have a child with her that belonged to them. Alarmed, Bai Ye pushed him away. Gu Lingqing was still disappointed. What's wrong? I'm not in the safe period, Bai Ye explained. Bai Ye explained. When she met his cold eyes, she added, I've taken medicine. It's not suitable for pregnancy. It will make the baby deformed. Gu Lingqing suddenly understood. He wanted a child with her so much that he didn't think. He kissed her on the lips and put her down next to him. He put one hand on her waist and the other on his head as he looked at her. Bai Ye felt uncomfortable under his gaze. Thinking of what happened just now, was it too, that, hard to describe? Do you want to go back to the military early tomorrow? Bai Ye changed the topic. No, I have a meeting in the afternoon. I can go back after lunch. Oh, then I'll sleep first. I'm a little sleepy. Baiye turned her back to him and closed her eyes. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything and pulled her into his arms to sleep. His phone rang. Seeing that it was Song Shiyu calling, Gu Lingqing hung up immediately. He didn't want to pick up. Lieutenant Colonel Song called again. Gu Lingqing still didn't want to pick up. He could guess what it was. Baiye looked at Gu Lingqing. Just as Gu Lingqing was about to mute his phone, the orderly called. Pick it up, it's okay, Baiye said gently. Gu Lingqing picked up the call. Chief, bad news. Zhou Hailon committed suicide, the orderly reported. Has she been sent to the hospital? She has, but she's very unstable. She wants to see you. It's useless to see me. Gu Lingqing frowned. When Baiye heard Gu Lingqing's refusal, a kind of emotion flowed freely in her heart. He listened to what she said before. He just needed to do it. She didn't want to turn him into an unjust person. Lingqing, go. It's okay, Baiye said gently. Gu Lingqing looked at her in confusion. Baiye smiled. I trust you. Gu Lingqing held Baiye's hand. Because she trusted him, he was even more certain of his decision. He loved her and didn't want her to get hurt again. Chapter 223. Baiye followed Gu Lingqing out. When she checked out of the room, she saw the strange look on the waiter's face. Baiye blushed and went out of the room first. Napkins were thrown everywhere in the room. She hadn't tidied them up yet. She felt like someone found out that she had done something bad. They were husband and wife. It was normal, wasn't it? Gu Lingqing checked out of the room and said, "We are husband and wife." The waiter was speechless. He came out and opened the door of the passenger seat. Baiye sat in the car. Gu Lingqing walked past the front of the car and got into the driver's seat. Baiye had already put on the seatbelt. Gu Lingqing drove the car. Can you tell me more about Zhou Hailon? I want to know how to treat her. Baiye looked at Gu Lingqing and said. Hailon was an orphan. She joined the army a long time ago. She was very hardworking and performed very well. We completed a few missions together and all of them were successful. Then, there was one time when we were rescuing a politician. There was a spy among us and all 8 of us died. I, Zhou Hailon, and that politician were trapped in a sea of fire. She helped me and the politician to leave first. After I rescued the politician, the sea of fire was already in ruins. I found a burnt body inside. The finger of the body was wearing the ring that I gave her. It turned out that she didn't die. She was captured by the enemy and treated inhumanely for 5 years. When she was rescued, her mind was already broken. All these years, she has been locked in the laboratory for treatment, Gu Lingqing said simply. Baiye had heard such a story before. That was not what she wanted. She has been locked up for treatment for 3 years. Why did she only come to you now? Baiye was confused. She had just recovered. There was a fire in the laboratory and she escaped in the chaos, Gu Lingqing explained. Baiye was silent. She knew the other person who went on the mission with them. It was Xia He. He was the spy that Gu Lingqing thought he was. Back then, Gu Lingqing had firmly believed that Xia He was a spy because only he and Xia He had survived that mission. She had never thought that Xia He was the spy. Now, there was a third person alive. Could the spy be the third person? She kept her suspicion to herself. Firstly, people would think that she was jealous of Zhou Hailon. Secondly, she had no evidence, so no one would believe her. Gu Lingqing made a phone call to confirm that Zhou Hailon had been sent to the military hospital. He brought Baya there. In the ward, Zhou Hailan had already fallen asleep. His wrist was bandaged and his hand was dripped with medicine. Song Shiyu and the two caretakers took care of her. When Song Shiyu saw Gu Lingqing and Baya together, her face darkened. She questioned Gu Lingqing, Hailan committed suicide because of you. Aren't you afraid that Baya will break down again? Baya and I are husband and wife. Baya is a psychologist and can help treat Hailan, Gu Lingqing explained. Do you think that Hailan will be willing to see Baya? I don't believe that she will treat Hailan well. You can do it alone, Song Shiyu said resolutely. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. Mom, do you want me to do nothing and take care of Zhou Hailan for the rest of her life? Song Shiyu paused. She turned to look at Baya and pressured her. Hailan's emotions are unstable now. Madam Bai, please leave. The term Madam Bai meant that she did not acknowledge Baya as her daughter-in-law. Baya did not want to go up to her and call her mother either. Madam, why do you think her emotions are unstable? Baya asked calmly. You already know the answer. She only has Lingqing in her heart. You're here with Lingqing to hurt her. Are you only happy when she dies? Song Shiyu said unhappily. So, madam, are you saying that you want Gu Lingqing and Zhou Hailan to be together and I'll back out? Baya guessed. Song Shiyu frowned and did not say a word. Baya's lips twitched in mockery. Children cry because they want sweets. The adults will give them sweets. Then, every time a child wants sweets, he just has to cry. But as time goes by, the child's teeth will rot because of the sweets. The gatekeepers should know what they should do and what they shouldn't. Crying and committing suicide won't solve any problems. On the contrary, it will only make the problem worse and worse until it gets out of hand, Baya said coldly. Are you sure that's what a person would say? You're accusing Lingqing of being heartless and unjust. Do you want Lingqing to watch Hailan die and feel guilty for the rest of her life? Baya, if you love Lingqing, you should let go. Don't put her in a difficult position, Song Shiyu said angrily. She's not the one who's putting me in a difficult position now. It's all of you, Gu Lingqing interrupted and held Baya's hand tightly. Song Shiyu looked at Gu Lingqing in shock. If I didn't save her this time, she would have died. Have you forgotten what she has done? What did I teach you? You can't be ungrateful. I'm sorry. I can't see Zhou Hailan in my eyes. Compared to being ungrateful, I don't want to let Baya down, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Her face was expressionless and she sounded distant and mean. Baya's heart was pounding hard. Her eyes were filled with tears. She held Gu Lingqing's hand tightly too. We're helping Zhou Hailan in the right way. That's just the right way you think. In my eyes, letting Lingqing go back to Zhou Hailan and take care of Zhou Hailan is the right way. Then I'm sorry. Gu Lingqing and I are already married. It's impossible for us to get a divorce. You should know better than me that a military marriage can't be divorced, Baya said firmly. It's not that you can't get a divorce. If you agree to it, there's a way. I won't get a divorce, Gu Lingqing said with a deep voice. Song Shiyu blocked the door of the ward. Hailan is already very pitiful. You didn't see how crazy she was when she couldn't find you. Now that she has finally calmed down, you can be heartless to her but don't hurt her. We're not hurting her, we're treating her, Baya said on behalf of Gu Lingqing. Over-treating her is hurting her. Go back now. We'll talk when she wakes up, Song Shiyu said coldly. Gu Lingqing looked down at Baya. Baya nodded. Let's go back first. Song Shiyu clenched her fists tightly and stared at Baya's back. Gu Lingqing nodded and left with her. They returned to the car. You don't have to worry about my mother's attitude. My relationship with them has been very strained for the past 3 years, Gu Lingqing comforted Bai Ye. It's okay, I know what she's thinking because I've seen her dark side. So, not only does she hate me, she's also afraid of me. She doesn't understand why she could force me so easily 3 years ago, but now she can't. Your mother isn't a bad person, she just loves you and your future too much. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing. Chapter 224. He was willing to bring her here and defend her in front of his mother. She was already touched. She engraved the words he said in her heart. One was, the one who makes things difficult for me now is not her, but you guys. Another was, I can't see Zhou Hailan in my eyes. Compared to being ungrateful, I don't want to let Bai Ye down even more. And another was, I won't leave. She remembered that a long time ago, she asked Gu Lingqing if he loved her. Gu Lingqing's answer was, I don't want to say it, I just want to do it. He really did it now, and it was not an empty promise. I misunderstood you before, I'm sorry, Bai Ye apologized. What did you misunderstand me about? Gu Lingqing asked. I saw you carrying Zhou Hailan into the hotel, and I stayed across from you. I saw you ordering supper for her, and you left very, very late. I was not in a good mood. Bai Ye lowered her head. Her heart still hurt when she thought about it. I carried her into the hotel because she fainted, and I ordered supper for her because she hadn't eaten for a few days, and she left very late. She was very scared and broke down at that time, and I didn't know what to do. So, I'm also at fault. I'm the one who should say sorry. Bai Ye lowered her eyes and thought about it from another's perspective. If he was a man who had saved her, and was injured because of her, when that man was at his most pessimistic and desperate, she might have stayed to accompany him out of shock and sympathy. But she still felt uncomfortable. Forget it. He only had her in his heart, and no other women were good enough. He had already given in, and she didn't dare to be aggressive and force him into a corner. Since we are both at fault for what happened in the past, let's forget it. Today is the beginning of our new life. Bai Ye put her other hand on the back of his hand. When a husband and wife are united, their sharpness can cut through gold. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. He was really thankful to the heavens that they got married under such a coincidence. Only then could the conflict between him and Bai Ye be eased. There was a fine line between heaven and hell. He would cherish the present. Go back and have a rest now. Do you want to go to the military area or the blue sky villa? Gu Lingqing asked. Let's stay in a hotel nearby. It's a bit far to go back. Besides, I think Zhou Hailan will want to see you after she wakes up. It'll be convenient for us to see her, Bai Ye analyzed. Gu Lingqing was silent. After thinking for a while, he replied seriously, I don't think she needs me right now. She needs a doctor. You're right. If I show up, it will only make her feel that crying is useful. If I don't show up this time, she might understand that suicide is useless. Have you thought it through? Bai Ye asked. I'll give her the best environment for treatment, and I won't restrict her freedom. If necessary, I'll cooperate with the psychologist. Didn't you say that there's a very outstanding senior last time? I want to hire him, Gu Lingqing said after careful consideration. Don't make a decision yet. Many factors will influence your thoughts now. Morning is the time when you're the most rational and emotional. You can tell me after you think it over. Bai Ye softened his tone. Okay. Gu Lingqing drove away. He listened to Bai Ye and checked into a hotel nearby. Bai Ye's estimation was right. They had only slept for 5 hours. At 5:00 o'clock in the morning, as soon as Zhou Hailan woke up, he called. Ah Ching, where are you? I'm so scared. I want to see you so much. I lost too much blood yesterday and fainted. Auntie said that you came to see me. Did you come? Why are you leaving now that you're here? Zhou Hailan sobbed. Gu Lingqing frowned and kept silent. Bai Yi took Gu Lingqing's phone and said gently, Zhou Hailan, it's still early. Sleep a little longer. I'll come to the hospital with Gu Lingqing to see you in the morning. Who are you? I don't want you to see me. I want Ah Qing. Zhou Hailan's voice became sharp. I'm Gu Lingqing's wife. Don't worry. Lingqing and I will take care of you. Who needs you to take care of me? Gu Lingqing is mine. I'm Gu Lingqing's fiancé. Who do you think you are? First come, first served. I've already agreed to Ah Qing's proposal before the accident. Let him answer the phone. Let him answer the phone. Zhou Hailan shouted. He's resting. I'm sorry. Bai Yi hung up the phone. I think I owe her a breakup, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Bai Yi saw the hesitation and sadness in his eyes. It's not nice to break up now. Let's take care of her together. I'll go out and buy breakfast and send it to her. Bai Yi got up from the bed. Gu Lingqing hugged Bai Yi from behind. Thank you for your understanding and tolerance. Bai Yi held Gu Lingqing's hand. You're repaying your debt, not making a mistake. You're not being considerate and forgiving. You're doing what you should do, as long as I'm in your heart. Bai Yi paused for a moment before continuing. If one day, you discover that Zhou Hailan is in your heart, I hope that you can completely let me go. If I didn't have you in my heart, I wouldn't have shamelessly asked the Civil Affairs Bureau to add us to the list. I understand my feelings very well, and it won't change for the rest of my life. Gu Lingqing said affirmatively. Bai Yi's eyes reddened. Countless scenes flashed through her mind. After so many twists and turns, she and Gu Lingqing had been separated for 3 years and then another 3 years. Now, they could finally be together. She had a feeling that she had finally achieved the right result after going through so many hardships. Life, perhaps, was like this. It was filled with surprise, helplessness, sadness, heartache, melancholy, tears, joy, smiles, and longing. A warm liquid flowed down her cheeks. Gu Lingqing wiped her tears. Silly girl, why are you crying? When I'm sad, I cry. When I'm angry and wronged, I want to separate. I want to live alone. I feel that it's better to live a carefree life alone. But when I calm down, I start to miss it. Freedom and loneliness sometimes complement each other. I think I should. I think I should never give up on you, Bai Yi confessed. I know. I've been to America to see you a few times. You'd be in a daze for a long time when you saw people in military uniforms. At that time, I would also think self-righteously, are you thinking of me? Gu Lingqing said gently. Bai Yi's tears flowed even more fiercely. She was indeed thinking of him, but she covered her heart with coldness and replaced her passion with alienation. We'll be fine in the future, Bai Yi said, choking with sobs. Gu Lingqing kissed her forehead. We'll be fine in the future. Bai Yi lowered her eyes and secretly made up her mind. Both she and Gu Lingqing liked children very much. With children, it would be a complete family. Gu Lingqing was 33 this year, and she was 28. It was the age to have children. Chapter 225. Bai Yi and Gu Lingqing went to have breakfast together. Bai Yi bought 2 steamed buns and a bowl of soybean milk. After thinking for a while, she added a bowl of steamed buns and a bowl of steamed buns. Why did you buy so much? Gu Lingqing asked confusedly. Your mother might still be here. We bought it for Zhou Hailan. It's not good if we don't buy it for your mother, Bai Yi said softly. Gu Lingqing looked at her with gentle eyes. Actually, you're gentle, considerate, and generous. My mother is prejudiced against you. Otherwise, you two would definitely get along well. Gu Lingqing sighed. It's God's will. It doesn't matter. I'll do what I should. It's her business whether she accepts it or not. Let's go. Otherwise, the breakfast won't taste good when it's cold. Bai Yi walked out of the door first. Gu Lingqing drove. On the way, her nerves were tense. Unconsciously, she followed Gu Lingqing to the door of the ward. Gu Lingqing knocked on the door and pushed it open. Zhou Hailan was squatting on the bed with her body curled up. When she saw Gu Lingqing, she quickly got off the bed. Without wearing her shoes, she ran to Gu Lingqing and said pitifully with a crying voice, Qing, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Bai Yi took a deep breath and walked in, standing next to Gu Lingqing. When Zhou Hailan saw Bai Yi, she widened her eyes and said angrily, Why are you here? You're not welcome here. She pushed Bai Yi with great force. Bai Yi fell backward. Gu Lingqing was quick to react. She held Bai Yi's waist and protected her behind her, standing in front of Zhou Hailan. I brought Bai Yi here. If she leaves, I'll leave too. Zhou Hailan was injured. He looked at Gu Lingqing in disbelief. There was a lot of accusation in his eyes. He pursed his lips tightly. Hearing that, Song Shiyu grabbed Zhou Hailan's arm and scolded Gu Lingqing, Are you a human being? If you bring her, you don't have to come. Let's go. Gu Lingqing fixed his eyes on Song Shiyu and made a decision in 3 seconds. He held Bai Yi's hand and turned around. Don't go, Zhou Hailan pleaded. Gu Lingqing stopped and looked at Zhou Hailan. If you leave, I will die, Zhou Hailan said pitifully. Gu Lingqing remained silent. If you die, you will have nothing. The person you love will not have either. Are you sure you want to die? Bai Yi asked. As soon as he said that, Song Shiyu glared at Bai Yi. Shut up. You have no right to speak here. Gu Lingqing's eyes were filled with annoyance. He pulled Bai Yi and left. Zhou Hailan dashed over and hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. It's okay. It's okay even if you bring someone here. I know that I'm ugly now and I'm not good enough for you. But I beg you, don't go. Gu Lingqing looked ahead with his pitch-black eyes. Bai Yi and I are husband and wife. I know that you're already married. Zhou Hailan's face was buried in Gu Lingqing's back. He cried. Treat me like a sister and treat my illness. Maybe when I recover and become a normal person, I can find my own happiness. Gu Lingqing glanced at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan stood behind him. He couldn't see her expression. Zhou Hailan continued, but for now, don't leave me. Don't abandon me. I will accept treatment. I don't ask for much. You just have to visit me once a day. No, 3 times a week is enough. Hailan, why do you have to be so aggrieved? Song Shiyu said in a low voice. Zhou Hailan let go of Gu Lingqing and looked at the bandage on his wrist. Gu Lingqing is already married. I disappeared for 8 years and now I'm like this. I can't even take care of myself. It's normal that Gu Lingqing doesn't want me. If you want to hate, then hate your fate. Miss Bai, don't you want to give them some time to get along? Hailan is already willing to be a sister. Song Shiyu hated Bai Yi even more now. Bai Yi looked at Gu Lingqing. I'll wait for you outside. She placed the breakfast on the dining table and turned to leave. Gu Lingqing frowned as he watched Bai Ye leave. There was a sense of pity and guilt in his eyes. Bai Ye said that she couldn't tolerate a grain of sand in her eyes. Gu Lingqing took a step towards Bai Ye. Song Shiyu stood in front of Gu Lingqing and said earnestly, "Now, Hailan is willing to be a sister. Do you really have to be so heartless? You gave all the love between a man and a woman to Bai Ye, so you should at least give some pity to Zhou Hailan. She really didn't do anything wrong. She really didn't do anything wrong. It's okay, auntie. Let him go," Zhou Hailan said gently. Gu Lingqing glanced at Zhou Hailan and walked towards the door. Zhou Hailan closed his eyes and staggered a couple of steps. "Hailan!" Song Shiyu cried out in alarm. Gu Lingqing turned around unconsciously. Zhou Hailan had fainted in his arms. Gu Lingqing frowned and said to Song Shiyu, "Call the doctor." Song Shiyu walked out of the door. She didn't go to the doctor. Instead, she called Bai Ye. "Where are you?" Bai Ye felt that Song Shiyu couldn't have asked for anything good. "Does where I am have anything to do with you?" "Bai Ye, why do you have to be a bad person? I want Zhou Hailan to be my daughter-in-law. Lingqing's father also wants Zhou Hailan to be his daughter-in-law. As long as you're not around, Lingqing will definitely fall in love with Zhou Hailan again. Why do you have to get involved and make it impossible for the two lovers to be together?" Song Shiyu asked coldly. "Madam, do you know what love is?" Bai Ye asked. Song Shiyu paused. "I've eaten more salt than you've crossed bridges. I don't need you to teach me what love is. In your eyes, love is what other people think is suitable or not. To put it bluntly, you're looking for a woman who is suitable for Gu Lingqing's future. If one day, Gu Lingqing finally becomes the most successful man, but he finds out that he doesn't love his wife. Because of his status, he can't leave his wife. He has no love in his life. When he dies, he will leave with regrets. Are you sure you want to give your son these things? Are you sure? There are some things I think I should remind you. If you use a woman's power to get to the top, you will be afraid of the woman's power and lose your freedom. If you rely on your own ability to get to the top, you won't have any weaknesses or uncertainties in other people's hands. I know you love your son. It's because of this love that I don't want to be rude to you. But I think your values have deviated. Happiness is not only about status, but also about warmth." Bai Ye said confidently, neither humble nor pushy. Song Shiyu was a little absent-minded. She thought of Gu Tianhang. Her mood changed subtly. Bai Ye's words touched the softest spot in her heart. Gu Tianhang married her not because he loved her, but because she was suitable. Chapter 226. Did she really want her son to follow in his father's footsteps? Was a marriage without love a happy ending? Did she feel happy right now? No, what she felt now was coldness. It was the despair of marriage and life. Song Shiyu suddenly couldn't figure it out. She hung up the phone and went to call the doctor. She followed the doctor to the ward. The doctor opened Zhou Hailan's eyes and she woke up. She held Gu Lingqing's hand and begged weakly, "Don't go." The doctor looked at Gu Lingqing. The patient's physique is very poor. Because of the massive blood loss, her blood sugar is very low. In addition, she already has mental problems. Don't agitate her. Gu Lingqing looked at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan smiled. I'm sorry to make you worry. I'm a little hungry now. What breakfast did you and your wife bring? I want to eat it now. Is that okay? Gu Lingqing untied the plastic bag and opened one of the boxes of soup dumplings. Then, he handed the chopsticks to Zhou Hailan. Why did you buy so many? Do you think I'm a pig? Zhou Hailan said with a bitter smile. Xiaoye also bought my mother's. Gu Lingqing said with a deep voice. Then, he moved Zhou Hailan's bed so that she could sit. Sister Xiaoye is really considerate, Zhou Hailan said softly. She's younger than you, but she's more mature. He put a box of soup dumplings on the dining table on the bed. Song Shiyu frowned and looked down. Gu Lingqing took a pair of chopsticks and gave them to Song Shiyu. You eat some too. You've been busy since yesterday. You must be hungry. Song Shiyu took a chair and sat down in front of the bedside table to eat. Zhou Hailan was eating the soup dumplings obediently. From time to time, she would look at Gu Lingqing helplessly. Then, she would lower her head and eat the soup dumplings carefully, as if she was afraid of making Gu Lingqing unhappy. Gu Lingqing picked up her phone and glanced at the time. She turned around and walked towards the door. Zhou Hailan paused with his chopsticks. A sinister gleam flashed across his eyes. It seemed that the situation had already gone out of her control and had become out of hand. Where are you? Gu Lingqing called Baiye the moment he left the house. I'm strolling in the garden behind the hospital. Baiye smiled. I'm coming to find you now. After saying that, Gu Lingqing hung up the phone and walked to the elevator quickly. Baiye sat alone on a chair in the garden, thinking about psychological problems. Most people with psychological problems don't know that they have psychological problems. Even if they know that they have psychological problems, they can't control themselves when they act up. Just like her, she only knew that her illness was acting up after her illness acted up. But Zhou Hailan was different. She knew what she was doing and the purpose of every step she took. She was more organized. She even knew when to compromise and when to say what to say. She could control her emotions very well. This was not normal. She changed too quickly. In the right environment and the right situation, she could make reasonable adaptations. These were more like ordinary people. They were very smart ordinary people. She closed her eyes and thought that she was Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan's node was Gu Lingqing. She loved Gu Lingqing deeply. She couldn't leave Gu Lingqing. There was only Gu Lingqing. She relied on him. She felt very inferior and was afraid of being abandoned. Then, she would put all her vigilance on the women around Gu Lingqing. As long as a woman appeared, she would collapse hysterically. She would do abnormal behaviors that were different from ordinary people. Most of their expressions were crazy and irrational. They were easily stimulated. Their emotions were more intense, and their behaviors were not controllable. But after she appeared, Zhou Hailan didn't. She committed suicide in the middle of the night because Gu Lingqing wouldn't go. This was something that a mentally ill person could do. However, when she saw that Gu Lingqing said that he was married and wanted to follow her, she began to say that she was willing to be his sister and was willing to cooperate with the treatment. She began to play the pity card. This was not in line with the special characteristics of a mental patient. She suspected that Zhou Hailan was pretending to be mentally ill, just like she suspected that Zhou Hailan was the mole. However, Gu Lingqing also said that they had cooperated on several missions and they were all successful. This was obviously a clear agreement for Zhou Hailan. What went wrong? A dark shadow shrouded her in front of her. Baiye looked up and saw Gu Lingqing. What are you thinking about? You're all meditating, Gu Lingqing asked and sat down next to Baiye. I'm just thinking about it. I have nothing to do anyway. How is Zhou Hailan? Baiye glanced at Gu Lingqing and asked. She's fine. She fainted just now, but she woke up again. She was having breakfast when I left. I think her emotions are much more stable now. Gu Lingqing was obviously relieved. Bai Ye smiled. What does the witness that you rescued do? To put it simply, he's like a messenger from country S. He came to country A with important resources. If something happens to him in country A, country S will misunderstand country A and they won't have the resources. Therefore, the terrorist organization captured him to cause conflict between country S and country A and restrict the development of country A, Gu Lingqing explained. Then why didn't the terrorist organization kill the politician and give you time to rescue him? Bai Ye asked. I guess they want the resources from country S. That's why they didn't kill the politician for the time being. To be more specific, since our mission is to rescue the politician, we didn't ask about anything else. By the way, speaking of this, I want to visit General Kai Qingyun soon. Kai Qingyun. Who is he? Bai Ye didn't know these people. He used to be my chief. Because I lost part of my memory, I don't remember part of the mission. I should have been drugged by the enemy during the mission, so I had sex with you. I think there should be someone who knows. Maybe they can find out about our child. Moreover, General Kai Qingyun's hometown, Jinyuan, is not far from Jinyang City. It's about a 2-hour drive. Jinyuan City. Bai Ye's heart skipped a beat. That was where Gu Lingqing met with an accident. A thought flashed across Bai Ye's mind. Is your chief also Zhou Heilan's chief? Yes. Back then, Zhou Hailan, Su Haoran, and I were from the same military region, Gu Lingqing explained. Can you bring me along when you visit General Kai Qingyun in Jinyuan City? Bai Ye asked. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Do you want to go? Bai Ye nodded. I want to go. If I go to LV Xingzhou's house as a tutor, I said that I don't have to go on Saturday and Sunday. Okay. I'll look for you when I go. Let's go together. Gu Lingqing smiled and hugged Bai Ye. Bai Ye leaned on him and looked at the blue sky. If only they could find their child. Perhaps Gu Lingqing's parents wouldn't object to it. Chapter 227. At 9:00, Bai Ye persuaded Gu Lingqing to go back to the military. She went to the appointed place. It was still early. She took out a pen and started to design a psychological test. Her phone rang. It was a call from an unknown number. Judging from the area code, it should be from America. She answered it suspiciously and asked in English, Hello, who is this? Are you the psychologist, Bai Ye, Ms. Bai? I'm Er's assistant. She has some problems and wants to consult you. We'll charge you according to the time of the conversation, the assistant said. Bai Ye knew an actress called Ni. She was a controversial actress. She was beautiful and had a good family background, but her acting skills were lacking. Sure. Give her the phone, Bai Ye said gently. Hello, doctor. I'm Ni. I feel like I'm about to collapse. I need your help, Ni. Said dispiritedly. I'm glad to help you. What kind of problem is bothering you? Bai Ye asked politely. My new movie has been on the air for a week. The ratings are okay, but many people are scolding me under the video. Some say that they want to quit the movie because of me, some say that my acting skills are bad, and some say that I'm a mistress who stole Britney's husband. Britney's husband and I are just talking because we're filming. We don't have a real relationship. They're slandering me maliciously and talking nonsense. Now the movie is the most popular one. My acting skills have been recognized by many professionals, but they're scolding me on Weibo and WeChat, saying that my acting is superfluous and asking me to leave the entertainment industry. Some even throw eggs at my door. I'm in so much pain that I don't know what to do, Ni complained. I remember that there was a time when you registered a secondary account to attack these haters. It was exposed and pushed you to the top of the wave, Baya said in a good tone. That's because I played a drug addict. They attacked me, saying that I was a prostitute and had sex with the director and producer. I was furious, but I couldn't attack him directly, so I registered a SMUF account to vent my anger. I feel like I'm going to collapse. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. These days, I've been suffering from insomnia and hair loss. My mental state is very bad. I'm afraid of going out and filming TV. I've even thought of committing suicide. My friend introduced me to you and said that you can help me. Nir said while sobbing. Before I help you, let's talk about the history of the entertainment industry. A long time ago, before television, many scripts were known to people through stage performances. For example, the most famous one was Broadway. Actors earned money through tickets and tips. There were very few people who could afford tickets, and only the rich could afford them. Many actors, in order to live a wealthy life, would try their best to get the favor of the nobles and the rich. To put it bluntly, it was said that they were relying on rich people. Those tycoons might be married men, or they might be playboys. What they needed to bear were their own emotional twists and turns. They rarely faced the pressure of public opinion because not many people knew about these dirty things. Gradually, with the advent of television and newspapers, actors became well known to most people. Their every move would be watched. If they did something wrong, such as breaking up a family or taking drugs, they would be attacked by the public and even condemned by the public. Later, with mobile phones, the internet, and Weibo, the exposure rate of stars was very high. The money they earned was also hundreds or thousands of times more than before. Similarly, their every move, even smoking a cigarette on the road, was magnified without limit. They became people who abandoned themselves to depravity. For these people who received attention, opening a SMUF account was equivalent to being shady, picking one's nose was equivalent to having a bad character, and being in love was equivalent to committing a crime. Do you agree with what I said? Baya said softly. That's right. What you said is not wrong at all. Last time I scolded an anti-fan. This anti-fan attacked me innocently, saying that I was shameless and a psychopath. I asked him to keep his mouth clean. This message was cut out of the major networks, and I became the target of attack. They thought that I was wrong, not the anti-fan. I was so angry that I couldn't sleep the whole night. Nir said while crying. Where are the people who attacked you? How old are they? Are they also aggressive people in real life? Are they mentally ill? You don't even know these. Is it worth it to be angry just because someone said that you don't know anything? I'm just angry that they spouted nonsense without knowing anything. They attacked me randomly and twisted the truth. I'm worried that it will affect my fans. What if no one likes me anymore? What if they abandon the show because of me? What if the investors don't want to look for me? I'll feel guilty too. Will it ruin a good show? Nir said sadly. First of all, your worries are unnecessary. There is a difference between those who are close to them and those who are distant from them. For example, as I said above, actors who have less exposure will bear less pressure from public opinion. Actors who have more exposure will bear more pressure from public opinion. Working in the same company, if the boss gives the same resource to employee A will think that the boss is good. Employee B who doesn't get the resource will think that the boss is bad. Your situation is the same. You have tens of millions of fans. Everyone has different upbringing, personality, and environment. Some people are too depressed in their daily lives. They are short-tempered, dark, and paranoid. They can't vent their anger in real life. Anyway, the internet doesn't use their real names. If they see something bad about you, they will scold you 1,000 times more. You can see what kind of people they are from their irresponsible colleagues. Why do you have to feel sorry for these people who have no morals and are venting their frustrations? They are already unhappy. If you have tens of millions of fans, it's normal to have tens of thousands of haters. Most people can see the essence from the phenomenon. It can be reflected from the ratings. Baya comforted her. I'm more worried that the fans will think that what the haters said is true. Near said worriedly. Your worries are unfounded. Let me put it this way. Those who are being slandered, attacked, and plotted against by despicable people will find my words very useful. Those with good self-restraint will find it not bad either. Perhaps it will be useful in the future. However, there will also be some people who will. There will be some people who will curse in a sharp and crazy tone. You can't change the way others curse. This depends on the person's upbringing. You can't change anything by worrying. Chapter 228. Are you talking about Brittany? Near was suddenly enlightened. I don't know. Maybe some of them are your opponents, but some of them are your anti-fans. First of all, you haven't offended these anti-fans, have you? Baya asked. My life is so far away from theirs. I'm busy filming every day. I don't even have time for myself. How could I offend them? I don't know why they hate me so much. Near frowned. Maybe you're too popular and aroused their jealousy. Maybe you're dating their Prince Charming, so they naturally hate you. Or maybe you stole the role of their goddess. Some of them just don't have enough self-cultivation. Let's imagine life as a TV series. Do you think the heroine will casually attack others, trample on others, slander others, insult others, and expose her sharp bad temper because of trivial things? Baya asked softly. Of course not. That kind of person is a cannon fodder. At most, she's the third or fourth female lead. So, as the protagonist, why do you care about a cannon fodder? You don't need to clean up this kind of cannon fodder. Life will make her suffer enough. Why do you need to spend time on unnecessary people's words? Near was suddenly enlightened. So, I'll just treat them as farts, right? Farts will stink. You can't change the environment you're in. Then you should improve your self-cultivation, patience, recognize the reality, and analyze rationally. After all, the fate of farts will vanish. Some people won't be happy if they don't spit it out. However, this kind of person will eventually be hated and hated by everyone in real life. Even the closest people around them can't stand it. They will be punished by fate. Why do you hate them? Their life will not necessarily be better than yours. Letting others go is also letting yourself go. Open-minded people will be happy, and they will bring happiness to the people around them. You can only be happy if you're liked by the people around you. Right, Near? Baya shouted intimately. Near's mood calmed down. She was seriously thinking about Baya's words. You must have a good life in your life, right? Baya smiled and said frankly, when dealing with other people's affairs, one's mood will be calmer, and one's rationality will be clear. One will know what is good and right. When people were dealing with their own affairs, their emotions would be more agitated. When the blood rushed to the brain, it would prevent rational thinking, and they would also make mistakes and make wrong judgments. That was because most people didn't judge whether something was true or false based on what it was. Instead, they judged it based on what they wanted. For example, there's a reality show in which so-and-so and so-and-so are paired up as a couple. People who want this to be true will look for all sorts of small details and reports. Maybe they look at each other to prove that they're really in love. Those who did not want this to be true would find all kinds of reports and small details to prove that they were not in love. When dealing with their own affairs, because of their strong subjective consciousness and lack of rationality, they would often make incorrect judgments and decisions. Me too. So, sometimes, I also need to see a psychiatrist to get some advice. It's not a shameful thing, but I hope that I won't do anything wrong, right? It's really pleasant to chat with you. Moreover, you're very good at solving problems. I feel that I've been brainwashed by you. My friend really didn't introduce the wrong person. Thank you. Later, I'll transfer the money to you according to your fee of 10,000 yuan per hour. There's also a little tip. Thank you, Dr. Bai. Dr. Bai, said sincerely. The fee of 10,000 yuan per hour was just for LV Xingzhou. Your friend is? Bai asked suspiciously. Qing Jinrong. He said that he had seen a doctor here. He just talked with you for a while, and he was cured by you. I'm in a good mood now. I'm going to work hard. That's all for now. I'm hanging up. Finally, thank you again, Dr. Bai. Near said and hung up the phone. In front of Baiya, there was a black shadow. She looked up. Qing Jinrong smiled slightly and said politely, I didn't expect you to come so early. It's only 10 o'clock now. Can you sit down? Baiya glanced at the seat opposite her. Qing Jinrong sat down opposite her and pressed the server button. I want to ask, are you deliberately giving my friend the cold shoulder because of psychological strategy? First, if his son's problem was solved by someone, it would have been solved by now. Second, according to his current treatment method, his son's condition will only worsen, and he will still feel annoyed. Third, this son is his only son. He values him more than his life. So, no matter how expensive I am, he will come to me one day. I'm not using psychological strategy. I'm just sure. Fourth, lowering the price will destroy the expert's aura. If you're too polite to him, it's all for money. He will look down on you. The more impolite you are to him, the more trustworthy he will feel. Baiye analyzed. What if you can't cure him after 3 months? Qing Jinrong was a little worried for Baiye. Don't you have confidence in me? Baiye said confidently. Qing Jinrong's phone rang. He saw that it was a call from the United States and answered. Qing Jinrong, your friend is amazing. After listening to her words, I suddenly saw the light. My mood is very good, and my appetite is very good. I'm not angry when I met the person who sprayed paint on my car just now, Near praised. If you have friends with psychological problems, remember to introduce them to her. We're all friends, and we should help each other, Qing Jinrong said righteously. Baiye took a sip of coffee. She had a good impression on Qing Jinrong. She was generous, loyal, responsible, and enterprising. She used to have some obsessive-compulsive disorder, but now it seemed that she had recovered. The speed of treatment depended on the patient's ability to understand. When are you leaving? Baiye asked. This time, I mainly came to bring Governor Liu here. After you've finished your discussion, I should be able to leave, right? The waiter came up. A cup of mocha, thank you, Qing Jinrong said politely. Do you have a project in the hands of Governor Liu? Baiye guessed. How do you know? Qing Jinrong was very surprised. Your attitude towards Liu Xingzhou is a little more flattering and cautious, and you always follow Liu Xingzhou's wishes. Previously, you said that you have your own company. If he is not a subordinate, then he must have a project in his hands, Baiye analyzed. You're too smart. Now, there is a very good piece of land in Jinyuan City for sale, but Xinjiang Construction Company is competing with me. If Governor Liu can help me, the possibility of me getting it is very high. Baiye frowned and asked suspiciously, "What's so good about that piece of land?" Qing Jinrong hesitated. Baiye could see his concerns. "You don't have to say it if you don't want to." Chapter 229. Baiye chuckled. "It's dangerous just because I know." "How is that possible? Are you a spy?" Qing Jinrong didn't say anything. He just smiled politely with a hint of aloofness and vigilance. Baiye knew that he wouldn't say anything, so she didn't ask anymore. She lowered her head and took a sip of coffee. The atmosphere suddenly turned cold. It was very strange. Qing Jinrong cleared his throat. "Do you know anything about history?" "When I was studying psychology overseas, there was a class that specifically talked about the history of both domestic and foreign countries. The main point was to judge a person's character from history and the direction of fate." "Why? Do you like to study history?" Baiye asked casually. "My ex-girlfriend's father likes it. He's an expert in this field. His main contribution is to study the geography of ancient times. Using the Song dynasty as an example, he can restore the map of the Song dynasty, where the battles took place, and where the important events took place," Qing Jinrong explained simply. A map from Tangqian village flashed across Baiye's mind. Maybe his ex-girlfriend's father was an expert in this field. Wait, Qing Jinrong and LV Xingzhou knew each other. LV Xingzhou should have that map, and LV Xingzhou might know Qing Jinrong's ex-girlfriend's father. Then, could the land that Qing Jinrong wanted to buy be the place where the treasure was hidden on the map? This thought made Baiye a little excited. She wanted to tell Gu Lingqing her guess immediately. Her hand holding the coffee cup was trembling. She tried her best to calm herself down and said respectfully, "There are specializations in every field. It's very normal for there to be people who are especially skilled in every field. I remember there's a platform that specializes in antique appraisals. Many people will take their antiques to appraise to see if they're real or fake, and how much they're worth in the market. I saw that the experts were very sure that they could see through it with one look. They're really good." "Silly girl, this is for the effect of the show. Those things have already been studied by the experts for a few days before they were presented," Qing Jinrong said with a smile. "That's already very impressive. They know the characteristics of the items from different dynasties. I was thinking that if these experts went to make an imitation, they might be able to pass it off as the genuine one." Baiye chatted casually, dispelling the other party's guard. "A lot of the real things have been sealed up and are only displayed in museums or exhibitions. These are the replicas made by the experts. But, a lot of the craftsmanship has been lost. Not only are they replicas, they are also exactly the same." Baiye sipped her coffee. "You've done some research on this. You like antiques." "I like it. I think it's very interesting. With these antiques, I feel like I've returned to that era. I also wonder if I was the owner of these antiques in my previous life. Where were these antiques placed in the past? What were they used for? Why were they placed among the funerary items? What did they represent?" Qing Jinrong asked calmly. "What kind of girl do you like? Judging from your description, you shouldn't be talking about porcelain, right?" Baiye probed. "I prefer something special." Qing Jinrong took out a jade pendant that he was wearing and placed it on the table. "Do you know who wore this before?" Baiye saw that the jade was very exquisite and the carvings on it were very special. She was dazzled. "Who was it?" "Panant," Qing Jinrong said confidently. Baiye laughed. "Panant was guilty of treason. His entire family was implicated. It's impossible for such a valuable jade pendant to be buried with him. You've been cheated. You might not know this, but Panant was an outstanding person with good taste in clothes. He had many friends and was extremely talented. He also liked to parade the streets. One day, he went out and bought this jade pendant. He had been wearing it ever since. However, because Taifu Yang-jun was killed, he was implicated. He asked someone to bring the jade pendant to his good friend, Gong Sun-hong. Gong Sun-hong saved him and the jade pendant has been with him ever since, Ching Jinrong explained. Baiyi shrugged her shoulders. If it wasn't an antique buried with him, who would wear it? Since Ching Jinrong was so sure, if she said no, it would be a disappointment. Have you ever imagined yourself to be Panin? Ching Jinrong was a little embarrassed. I feel that he was the most wronged person. The record said that he was extremely beautiful, but he was impulsive and liked to curry favor with those in power. That's wrong. Baiyi nodded. I agree with your point of view. From a few examples, I can see that. First, Young Jun was killed. He had foresight. He didn't want to be implicated. This shows that he wasn't impulsive. His mother was gravely ill. When he resigned from his position, he said that if he couldn't even take care of his mother, what was the use of wealth? He was recorded in the 24 filial sons, but it was later removed. Third, he had a wife. When his wife died of illness, he was only 32 years old. He was in the prime of his life, and his career was flourishing. He became an official and lived a wealthy life, but he did not marry a wife, nor did he take a concubine. He was single for 18 years, which showed that he was very important. This shows that he valued relationships and was infatuated. He was a rare man. Ching Jinrong clapped his hands. He felt like he had found a confidant. You and I are thinking the same. However, because he was guilty of treason, when he was recorded in the history books, the emperor couldn't say that he was good. The emperor didn't want to record him in the history books and even removed his name from the 24 filial sons. Pass it on. However, Pan An's reputation was too good. The common people, unofficial history, and local calendars all described him perfectly. The emperor had no choice but to let people write it like this. It was just a few words. He didn't dare to say too much, afraid that he would make mistakes. It's like this. The winner takes all. If he succeeded, it would be a positive word. If he failed, it would be a negative word. Isn't there a few famous stories about Zhu Yuanzhang? Heroes are afraid of old men. After he became the emperor, people who knew him in the past came to seek refuge with him. They said that they were miserable in the past and were all beheaded. They said that if they were strong and righteous, they would be promoted. Baiyi agreed. The coffee in the cup was finished. Ching Jinrong looked at Baiyi with a different gaze. It was filled with excitement, joy, and excitement. It was as if he had been looking for a long time and finally found a girl who was compatible with him. He could see her in his eyes and didn't feel annoyed. How are you and your husband? Ching Jinrong asked with concern. Pretty good, Baiyi said simply. She had confided in a stranger because he was a stranger. When this stranger tried to enter her life, she rejected him. Baiyi looked at her phone and changed the topic. Looks like I'm too late. Chapter 230. From Ching Jinrong's words, Baiyi could sense that he might know a lot of things. I only do what I'm supposed to do, Baiyi said meaningfully. That's good. I suddenly regret introducing him to you. Ching Jinrong's words carried a hidden meaning. Baiyi did not ask why. She had a vague feeling that her previous judgment was correct. LV Xingzhou arrived after 11 p.m. With a face full of smiles, he was much more polite to Baiyi. I'm sorry. I was meeting a friend. There was a traffic jam on my way here. That's why I'm late. Get to the point, Baiya said concisely. I agree with your suggestion. May I know when Madame Bai will be able to go to Jinyuan City? LV Xingzhou asked politely. You live in Jinyuan City. Baiya was surprised. Jinyuan City was not a provincial capital. Jinyuan is my hometown. My wife and children live there. I only go back on weekends. But when I go to Jinyuan City, I'll be staying longer, LV Xingzhou explained. I understand. You can leave tomorrow. I'll go to the research institute to draft the contract. Please wait for me. I hope that the first sum of money will be in my account before I leave, Baiya said. Sure. Let's go to the research institute now, LV Xingzhou said with a smile. Baiya looked at LV Xingzhou suspiciously. His attitude today was very different from before. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be like this. Wasn't he going to discuss it in detail? Or was there another reason? Baiya brought LV Xingzhou to the research institute. The main reason she went to LV Xingzhou was to tell him that she was from the research institute to lower his guard. LV Xingzhou did not get out of the car. Instead, he waited for Baiya in the car. Baiya went into her office and printed out the contract for LV Xingzhou to sign. He signed his name without hesitation. Do you want to have lunch together? LV Xingzhou invited. It's fine. I'll be heading to Jinyuan City tomorrow. There will be plenty of opportunities for me to eat with you in the future. I need to go back and pack some stuff, so I won't be able to accompany you, Baiya said in a distant manner. That's true. Then, I'll see you in the future. I'll arrange for someone to transfer the money to you. After LV Xingzhou finished speaking, he lowered the black window and drove away. Baiya watched him leave and was about to drive the car Gu Lingqing had left for her to the military base. His cell phone rang. She looked at the caller ID and answered, Hello, who is this? Baiya, hello. I'm Zhou Hailan. Can you come to the hospital at noon? I want to see you, Zhou Hailan said softly. Baiya's lips twitched. Sure, see you later. She wanted to see why Zhou Hailan was looking for her. Could it be that he wanted to start with her? She drove to the hospital. Song Shiyu was not there. There were 2 nurses in the hospital. Go and get me lunch. Zhou Hailan deliberately sent the nurses away. The nurses tactfully went out. Have a seat, Zhou Hailan said softly. Baiya sat down on the chair quietly. Zhou Hailan looked at Baiya from head to toe. When I was imprisoned by the enemy, I was wondering if Qing would forget about me and fall in love with another woman. It seems that a woman's intuition is very accurate. You're younger, prettier, better built, and more cultured than me. I admit my defeat. Don't think too much. The most important thing for you now is to recuperate. Everything will be fine. There's one thing that I don't know who else can help me other than you. Zhou Hailan lowered her eyes. Baiya looked at her. She did not think that she had any ability other than to help Zhou Hailan psychologically. She was very guarded against Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan saw that Baiya did not respond to her, so she looked at Baiya worriedly. Can you promise me that you won't tell anyone? Baiya nodded. Tell me. When I was imprisoned by the enemy, I was often gang raped by them until I got pregnant. Zhou Hailan paused for a moment. They asked me to give birth to the child and then identify whose child it was. What about the child? Baiya frowned and asked. When I was rescued together with the child. I don't know where it is. I don't dare to let anyone know that it's my child. Firstly, I don't have the ability to raise it. Secondly, I feel very embarrassed. I don't dare to let Qing know that I gave birth to a child, and it's a child that I got. So, what do you need my help with? Baiya looked at Zhou Hailan suspiciously. Help me find that child and then adopt him. After interacting with you, I feel that you are a very reasonable person. If you raise the child, he will definitely be very outstanding. Don't tell him that I'm his mother. Zhou Hailan lowered her head. Baiya looked at her. She actually could not see through Zhou Hailan at all. What was the purpose of Zhou Hailan telling her about this? I understand. I will try to find out, Baiya replied. Thank you. Can you not tell anyone about this? Zhou Hailan begged again. Baiya nodded. Don't worry. Zhou Hailan got up from the bed and kowtowed to Baiya 3 times. Thank you for helping me regardless of the past. I am relieved that you are taking care of the child. I won't ruin your relationship with Ah Qing, I swear. Get up. Take care of yourself. Baiya helped Zhou Hailan up and laid her down on the bed. I'm going to Jinyuan City for a business trip tomorrow. I'll be away for about 3 months. I'll see you when I'm back. Zhou Hailan nodded. Thank you. Baiya turned around and walked towards the door. Suddenly, she turned around and looked at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan was stunned. What's wrong? Baiya shook her head and walked out of the ward. If she was not mistaken, Zhou Hailan was staring at her back with a sharp gaze. She suddenly turned around. Zhou Hailan did not have time to react. She was startled and panicked. Since the child's matter was a trap, she would deal with it coldly and observe the situation. Zhou Hailan frowned. She watched as Baiya walked away. She got up from the bed and made sure there was no one outside. She made a call and said angrily, Baiya is an expert in psychology. She is meticulous and has a strong analytical ability. There's no way to fool her. Moreover, Gu Lingqing listens to her. She's very difficult to deal with. You want to back out? I can arrange for you to leave immediately. I don't need incompetent people here. Of course not. I've been away for too long. Give me more time. Zhou Hailan requested. Baiya will be going to Jinyuan City tomorrow for 3 months. Think about what you're going to do. Also, unless I give you an order, don't contact me unless necessary. I'm hanging up. Zhou Hailan deleted the message in annoyance. Baiya got into the car and called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing picked up. She did not mention anything about Zhou Hailan. If the enemy did not make a move, she would not make a move. Gu Lingqing, I was chatting with Qing Jinrong today. I found out something important. Chapter 231. Baiya was speechless. She was speechless for a moment. Not really. Let's get down to business first. He has an ex-girlfriend. Her father is an ancient geologist. She knows LV Xingzhou. Now, the administrative construction company and his company are fighting over that piece of land. I suspect that it is the location of the map of Tangqian village. Baiya told him everything. His ex-girlfriend. He doesn't have a girlfriend now. Gu Lingqing said darkly. Baiya exhaled. He should have a girlfriend by now. I'm not that familiar with him. Besides, I'm already married to a married man, and it's a military marriage. Don't you think too much? It's good that you know who you are. I will keep an eye on that piece of land and expropriate it. None of them will get it, Gu Lingqing said straightforwardly. Baiya smiled. One more thing. I'm on my way back to the military. I'll leave for Jinyuan City tomorrow. LV Xingzhou's hometown is in Jinyuan City. I'm going there to be a home tutor for his child. I'll be there on Monday and Friday. Our meeting might be on Saturday. Sunday. That's fine. I'll be worried if I leave you there for 3 months. She didn't understand what Gu Lingqing meant. He wouldn't be worried if he left her there for 3 months. Why did he say that it was fine? She said, huh? Gu Lingqing was as serious as ever. He said in a deep voice, I'll go there to accompany you. Bai Yi's heart was beating fast. She was going to Jinyuan City for 3 months. She was worried. After all, Gu Lingqing was in the military. Zhou Hailan was also in a city. Moreover, Zhou Hailan was good at deceiving people and had special privileges to go to the military. She was worried. After all, she was a woman. She didn't have the magnanimity to put her husband and her first girlfriend together. Hearing Gu Lingqing's words, her heart was filled with sweetness. What about your business in the military? Can you leave? Bai Yi asked worriedly. Didn't you say that the piece of land is a treasure trove? I definitely have to station troops. The past 3 months have been normal. It's a normal company business trip, Gu Lingqing explained to lighten her mental burden. Bai Yi was very touched. She hesitated whether she should tell Fu Yuhuang about Zhou Hailan. After thinking about it carefully again, he decided to wait and see what would happen. Then I'll hang up first. We'll talk when we get to the military base. Bai Yi hung up and her phone rang again. Seeing that it was Su Jiran, she hesitated for a moment before answering. Where is it? Let's have a meal together today, Su Jiran said with a smile. Su Jiran, there's something I want to tell you. My marriage registration with Gu Lingqing hasn't been cancelled. I'm his legal wife now, and it's a military marriage. I can't get a divorce. So, if you really like me, let me go. I don't want to add more troubles. Life is not easy. Bai Yi said straightforwardly. Then, he cut off all his fantasies. Su Jiran was silent for a moment, and then smiled. What if I ask you this time to talk about your child? I've found the child of you and Gu Lingqing. Really? Bai Yi didn't believe it. Nowadays, the identification technology is so scientific. I can't lie to you even if I want to. Between the son and Gu Lingqing, you can only choose one. In our wedding room, I'll wait for you. See you in an hour. If you don't come, don't think about seeing the child in the future. I'll also disappear from your life completely, Su Jiran said. After that, he hung up. Bai Yi stared straight ahead. Her hands were still in a motionless position. Her mind was in a momentary confusion. She stopped the car by the roadside, and many chaotic thoughts flashed through her mind. She wanted to go to Su Jiran's place first, but she was worried that if she went there, Su Jiran might use force. If she didn't go, she was worried that she would really miss the opportunity to see the child. Another possibility was to tell Gu Lingqing to find out the whereabouts of the child. If he dared to do anything to the child, she and Gu Lingqing would not let Su Jiran off. But she didn't dare to risk losing the child. Although she had to choose between the child and Gu Lingqing, she and Gu Lingqing were married to a soldier, and they couldn't get a divorce. She had a buffer time. Now, her mind was in a mess. She called Su Jiran. Su Jiran picked up the call. A childish voice sounded, "Hello," Uncle said, "are you my mother?" Bai Yi's heart sank. She was even more confused. "Baby, how old are you?" 5.5. "Mother, don't you even know how old I am? Are you my mother?" Xiao Bao's baby questioned. Bai Yi felt extremely guilty. "Baby, can you give the phone to Uncle?" Su Jiran picked up the call. "Su Jiran, can you show me what the baby looks like? How can you be sure that he's my baby?" Bai Yi questioned. I've checked your paternity test. Of course, I can do it, Su Jiran said with certainty. I think you're lying to me. Where did you find Xiao Bao's baby? Baiya probed. If you want to know the details, look for the answer yourself. Baiya, I won't give you any extra time. I know Gu Lingqing's ability. Within an hour, if you don't arrive, I'll send your son to a place where you'll never find him again. Think carefully. If I find out that you've told Gu Lingqing, you'll never see your son again. Don't be so absolute. It doesn't mean that A is B, there are other choices, right? Baiya said anxiously. There's no other choice. Son or Gu Lingqing. Think carefully. Su Jiran hung up the phone without hesitation. Baiya took out her notebook and wrote on the paper for a long time. She wrote down the pros and cons. As the authority, she had lost her direction and walked into a dead end. Seeing the time passing by, she became more and more anxious. She hit the steering wheel heavily. She couldn't control her emotions anymore. She took out the medicine from her bag and poured it on her hand. At the same time, she made a decision. She might not be able to give birth to a beautiful baby in the future. She wanted her son. Gu Lingqing was very capable. He would definitely find her. He definitely would. Baiya threw the medicine into her mouth and leaned on the steering wheel. She calmed herself down gradually and a sharp light flashed in her eyes. She called Lu Shuang. Cool girl, one is your biological son and the other is your beloved husband. Between the two, which one will you learn? Baiya asked. Her purpose was to leave a vague message to Gu Lingqing. In this way, it didn't count as telling Gu Lingqing. There's only one son, but I can have many husbands. Of course, it's my son. Moreover, my son is my own flesh and blood. He's definitely closer to me than a man. Lu Shuang said casually. What's wrong? Chapter 232. For safety's sake, she bought pepper spray and an electric baton when she passed by an appliance store. She placed them in her bag before heading to Su Jiran's villa. It took her an hour to get there. She keyed in the password and it was Xing Jinyan's birthday. It was ironic, wasn't it? The door opened and Baiya walked in. Su Jiran was watching cartoons with a little boy on the sofa. Baiya was shocked when she saw the child. It was a miniature version of her and he looked just like her when she was young. Su Jiran smiled devilishly and looked at Baiya. What are you waiting for? The dishes are in the kitchen waiting for you to make them. Lil Tian and I haven't eaten yet. Lil Tian looked at Baiya. He looked at Baiya and asked in a childish voice, Are you my mummy? Baiya was stunned for a few seconds. She walked over to the little boy and squatted down in front of him. She was so shocked that her mind went blank as she looked at the little boy's face. Lil Tian looked back at Baiya and also looked at Baiya. As he looked, his eyes turned red and tears flowed out. He said sadly, Mummy, why didn't you come to find me? Baiya looked at the little boy's tears and her heart seemed to have been hit by something. Tears flowed out of her eyes. Her child was snatched away less than a week after he was born. She had wanted to protect her child from the start. Baiya rubbed the little boy's head. I'm sorry, Mummy couldn't find you. Lil Tian threw himself into Baiya's arms and hugged Baiya tightly. Mummy, you found Lil Tian. You'll never abandon me again, right? Of course not. Mummy will take good care of you, Baiya said with certainty. The little boy cried even more sadly. Mummy, Mummy. I didn't have a good life in the past. When Baiya heard the bad things that the little fellow said, her heart ached even more, and her heart was filled with sorrow. She was the one who brought the child to the human world. It was her fault for not protecting him properly that caused him to live such an unfortunate life. Alright, you guys have a good chat. I'm going to the kitchen. Su Jiran walked towards the kitchen with a malicious glint in his eyes. Things had gone far out of his control. This was not good. He turned around and looked at Baya, who was smiling gently. Originally, this woman was his. She would have given birth to several lively and lovely children for him. Their family should have been very happy. Su Jiran furrowed his brows. His expression was extremely ugly. He wanted to return to the past more and more. When she still loved him. Now, as long as he was given a chance, there was still time, right? Su Jiran walked into the kitchen. Tell me, how did Uncle find you? Baya asked softly. Little Tian pursed his lips and cried again. Baya wiped away little Tian's tears. You've suffered a lot in the past. Now that you have me, I won't let you suffer anymore. My adoptive parents adopted me. In the 3rd year, when I had a younger brother, they didn't treat me well. They sold me to human traffickers. They wanted to cut open my stomach and put poison in it. I escaped and have been wandering the streets ever since. I've been to many places, but I often don't have enough to eat. I can't sleep. I'm afraid I'll be caught again, little Tian said sadly. Only then did Baya realize that little Tian was very, very thin. His face did not have the luster of a 6-year-old child. Although he was dressed very well, probably because Su Jiran had changed him into good clothes. Baya did not dare to imagine what this little fellow would do in the winter when he had no money. Where do you sleep? Baya asked with a pained heart. I'm very smart. I sleep in KFC. It's open 24/7. There's heating in winter and air conditioning in summer. But they don't like me, so I walk to a different place every day. During the day, I walk to beg for food. At night, I sleep in KFC. The more Baya listened, the more her heart ached. Tears streamed down her face. She thought that her childhood was unfortunate. She spent a long time in the orphanage. But after her mother came out of the nursing home, she took her away. Before her illness, she had enjoyed a mother's love. When she was in the orphanage, she did not have to worry about clothes, food, or sleep. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I didn't protect you well. It won't happen again, Baya said with tears streaming down her face. Come over and eat, Su Jiran shouted. Baya turned around in surprise. Didn't he say he didn't cook? Su Jiran smiled charmingly. His voice was very gentle and magnetic. Come over and eat. I'm just joking with you. The food was delivered. I'm just waiting for you to eat. You shouldn't have starved the child, Baya frowned and complained. Su Jiran's smile widened. How would I dare to starve your sweetheart? When I was waiting for you, I ate a cake. Baya was a little relieved. He held Lil Tian's hand and walked to the dining table. When he saw the dishes on the table, his eyes lit up. Thank you, Daddy Su, for preparing so much delicious food. It would be great if I could have so much delicious food every day. The child's wish was pure and simple. But Baya felt sour when she heard that. This was what other children had every day but did not cherish. It was indeed what this child desired from the bottom of his heart. Su Jiran smiled and picked up a drumstick for Lil Tian. Then from now on, you will be with Daddy Su and Mommy Su every day, okay? Okay. Lil Tian was so touched that he cried. Baya looked at the child lovingly. The tears in her eyes could not stop flowing. Su Jiran handed a napkin to Baya. Baya took the napkin and wiped Lil Tian's tears. She also wiped her own tears. Su Jiran held her hand. Xiaoya, I know that this is the life you've been dreaming of. Children, a husband, a family. I can give you a warm home. You can see the changes in me, right? I've been waiting for you. I won't make any more mistakes in the future. We will be very happy. If you are willing to give birth to a child for me, we will have another child. Our love for Lil Tian will not diminish. If you don't want a child, we don't want one. I will treat Lil Tian as mine. Baiya lowered her eyes. She had calmed down. She was a little emotional now. She did not want the child to see it. She stood up and walked to the washroom. Su Jiran followed and hugged Baiya from behind. I love you. You know that I can give up anything for you. I can give up nothing as long as you are with me. Su Jiran confessed. Baiya looked at him. The child is Gu Lingqing's. Can't you give it to me? A crack appeared in Su Jiran's eyes. His eyes were red and wet. Xiaoya, I gave up my career and my enemies for you. Aren't you being a little too cruel to me? I gave the child to you and Gu Lingqing. What about me? Am I all alone? I can't. I have you. Chapter 233. Su Jiran was angry. He also felt heartache because of Baiya's favoritism towards Gu Lingqing. He let go of her hand. Baiya, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want Gu Lingqing and the child at the same time. That's impossible. If you want Gu Lingqing, I won't give the child to you. I'll also tell Lil Tian that you chose love and abandoned him. Lil Tian is still young. You will traumatize him if you do this, Baiya said anxiously. She could not help but hate Su Jiran's methods. Isn't this your choice? Love or family, you can only choose one, Su Jiran said. He was very determined as he stared at Baiya. Baiya stared back at Su Jiran. Her mind was spinning very quickly. Why couldn't she have love and family at the same time? That child clearly belonged to her and Gu Lingqing. She wanted to tell Gu Lingqing. Now that she knew what the child looked like, with facial recognition, with Gu Lingqing's ability, he would definitely be able to find Lil Tian. Baiya's cloudy eyes gradually became clear. She had to leave now. She could not anger Su Jiran. She had to retreat safely. I need to think about it. Su Jiran smiled. Xiaoya, I know you too well. Your eyes tell me that you have already made up your mind. Now that you said you need to think about it instead of telling me your decision directly, it means that your decision is to choose Gu Lingqing. You're thinking that since Gu Lingqing is so capable, as long as you tell Gu Lingqing, you will definitely be able to find the child. Based on the child's appearance, you will definitely be able to find the child. Baiya furrowed her brows. Su Jiran was too scary. He had analyzed her thoughts very thoroughly. She was a little annoyed. She studied psychology, but she didn't hide her thoughts well. Didn't you ask me to choose one of the two? Since you chose Gu Lingqing, I can only respect your choice. However, I will give the child plastic surgery and give him bone marrow replacement surgery. You know, as long as the bone marrow is replaced, the DNA will be changed, so, you will never find him, he will still be resentful for the rest of his life. I hate your choice, Su Jiran said coldly and turned around. Baiya grabbed his arm anxiously. You can't do this. The child is still young. This is too cruel. Su Jiran glanced at her, and there was no warmth in his eyes. You think I'm cruel to the child, but aren't you cruel to me? Why can't you imagine what you've done when you're talking about how cruel I've been to you? What did you do to me 3 years ago? In order to gain Xing Jinyan's favor, you tried to kill me many times. Have you forgotten all of this? Bai Ye was emotional. When did I try to kill you? I told you that the person who kidnapped you would never hurt you. It was a trap set up by me. I wanted Xing Jinyan to trust me completely because I wanted to take revenge, but I didn't want you to die. Su Jiran was also emotional. What about the harm you've done to me? 3 years. I gave you 3 years of time. I watched the women around you change one after another. Do you know how I felt at that time? I was in purgatory every day, living a life worse than death. That's because I used my hatred for Xing Badian on you. I haven't seen through my feelings for you. In the 3 years that you were abroad, I kept myself clean because I knew that I was in love with you. You wanted me to castrate myself, so I castrated myself. I didn't care about sex at all, I only cared about you. Su Jiran raised his voice. Bai Ye was angry and pushed Su Jiran hard. This choice of family and love made her break down. She picked up the hand sanitizer on the sink and smashed it on the ground. After smashing it on the ground, she was still angry. She then threw the napkin box on the sink on the ground. She still felt that she couldn't vent the anger in her heart and smashed the vase on the ground. She went into the bathroom. The shower gel, shampoo, and shaving lotion were all smashed on the ground. She still felt uncomfortable and punched the wall hard. Panic flashed in Su Jiran's eyes. He had seen this crazy state of hers from Bai Ye's mother, Bai Bing. He rushed forward and hugged Bai Ye. Bai Ye struggled with brute force, but she couldn't get out. She turned her head and bit Su Jiran's arm. Su Jiran let out a muffled groan. Bai Ye tasted the blood, but she still bit him hard. The door was pushed open. Xiao Tian stood at the door and looked at the two people inside. He said in a childish voice, "Daddy Su, Mommy, are you fighting because of my appearance?" Daddy Su is the person who treats me the best, and I like Mommy too. If you fight because of me, I'll leave after dinner. Don't fight because of me. Bai Ye paused and looked out of the door. The little fellow looked at them pitifully. Tears flowed down Bai Ye's face, past her chin, and fell on Su Jiran's hand. She saw the blood on Su Jiran's arm and stained his white shirt. She also saw the mess in the room. She was stunned and a little absent-minded. She was acting up again. When she was emotional, she couldn't think at all. Her mind was blank. When she woke up, she didn't even know what she had done. Seeing that Bai Ye had calmed down, Su Jiran let go of Bai Ye, walked to Xiao Tian, rubbed his head, and said with a smile, "Daddy Su and Mommy Tian didn't fight because of Xiao Tian. It has nothing to do with Xiao Tian. We are both happy to find Xiao Tian. Xiao Tian, be a good boy and go out for dinner. We'll have a good chat with Xiao Tian's mommy. We'll have dinner with Xiao Tian later. Can Daddy Su and Mommy Su not fight?" Xiao Tian asked. "Daddy Su and Mommy Su don't fight. Look, Daddy Su is holding Xiao Tian's mommy. Daddy Su promised Xiao Tian that he and Mommy Tian will never fight. I will spoil and love Mommy Tian, just like Daddy Su loves Xiao Tian, okay?" Su Jiran coaxed patiently. Xiao Tian looked at Bai Ye, ran over, and hugged Bai Ye. His small body only reached Bai Ye's waist. Bai Ye lowered her head and looked at Xiao Tian. How could she bear to let him, who was not even 6 years old, continue to wander around? Just the thought of it made her heart ache. Tears continued to roll down her cheeks. "Mommy, don't cry. I'll protect you when I grow up." Xiao Tian looked at Bai Ye with fear in his eyes. He was afraid of being abandoned. A child's eyes were innocent, and he didn't know how to hide his emotions. Baya caught his emotions and squatted down. She looked at Xiaotian and said, "Xiaotian, go eat first. I want to talk to your daddy Sue." "Okay. Xiaotian, be a good boy. Xiaotian will go eat. I won't cause trouble for daddy and mommy." Xiaotian went out obediently and closed the door for them. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.